All right. And we are live. The last word with Lord Cognito and Ebontis, fresh at the campfire Friday morning. Seems we got some special guests in the building. What's going on, E? Feel special today.
We definitely got a special lady coming from across the pond, and we're going to jump right in and bring her into this thing the only we would know how at the last word with a grandiose intro. So here we go.
Let's go, E.
Welcome to The Last Word, episode 116. It's a great Friday morning, and we have an amazing lady joining us, so grab your seat around the campfire, and let's do this. I'd like to introduce a lady who works her tail off nonstop so much that instead of sleep, she has sups running through her veins to keep her going. She has a wide variety of gaming background titles, including Halo, The Witcher, but still has a soft spot for Tomb Raider, and why wouldn't she? It's another woman kicking butt. She's a badass mom who could school most of us on raid content while still taking care of her daughter, and even cleared Crown of Sorrow on day one. So let's welcome another great member of the Last Rites and the Ascend stream team, producer of both Saturday Night Warm-Up and The Guardian Royale with James Work, someone who knows the best raid is King's Fall, a diehard hunter, and plenty of space in her backpack. Roboticadi, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing amazing. I was very honored there. I'm gonna need you, right, to record that, and I'm gonna put that at the start of every stream. That was amazing. Thank you so much. That was really welcoming.
You are
Good
welcome.
How
you doing this morning? Welcome for all the way from across the pond in Scotland. Love the accent. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. This is it's earlier for you guys than it is for me. It's 2:00 in the afternoon for me, so it's not too bad. Thank you so much for inviting me on. This is really exciting. So
Pleasure.
Oh, it's our pleasure. I feel like I'm actually just more returning the favor after being a part of joining the Saturday Night Warm-Up and squeaked into the Royale, even though I feel like the meal question, I got a bit of a shaft there from Jixer, but you know.
yeah. We're going to talk about that vote off.
Be like, so what's she going to be eating? Oh, you got the better food. You're out.
Yeah, you're out. Yeah.
It's like, no, it's like, I think there was, it's like they're friends there. I see how it plays.
Warlock got to speak to a Titan.
we don't hold grudges, but let me tell you, we remember when people kick us off. Happens to me every time. The producer, but never wins the bloomin' show. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
At some point, you need to win one of these things and just have him set in the background.
Yeah, pretty much. Just
exactly.
Like, go away. To be fair, we're looking at changing things a little bit, but nothing's set in stone, so I wouldn't want to go too much into it. But the Saturday night warm up and then also Guardian Royale was James's brainchild, and he came to me and he was like, "Hey, this is what I want to do. Do you want to help me?" And I'm like, "Huh? Me? You've got so many people that are like a lot larger in the community, but to be fair, a lot of people that are larger in the community have their own stuff going on. So, like, it was a huge honor, and I love that. And it was an absolute pleasure to have you on, Ebontis. Even though that we were in Last Rites, like we haven't really crossed paths too much, which is an error on my part as well.
I'm just as bad as anybody on that stuff. So. You are fine.
Time runs away from you, doesn't it?
It's like, well, I'm working on doing this, that, the other. All of a sudden, okay, have no time.
Yeah.
Get into some questions with Adi. See what's going on. So, let's talk about just your journey. In the beginning, we all here at the campfire have this passion for this game of ours, this Destiny thing. So, let's start there as far as like your passion for Destiny and just what got you into content creation.
So, I just had my daughter and everything, and my daughter's father had basically given me the game, and he was, "Hey, this looked kind of cool, do you want to play it?" So I actually came into Destiny around about Rise of Iron time. Nice. So I was spoiled for content, because I had all of it from the last
prior,
thing. Yeah. So I started playing a little bit. I got to know a few people. The first time I actually started playing with people like in an X, because I started on Xbox, and an Xbox party is we cleared Prison of Elders.
Ooh.
And this person was just like, "Hey, you're playing really well. Do you want to join us? We're going to run it again. I'm like, yeah, sure. So we jumped into a voice chat. Stereotypically, when you used to jump into a voice chat and you started talking, oh my God, it's a girl. I had none of that. I had none of that with that group, and it was great.
Nice.
So we
Awesome.
just kind of spent time gaming and stuff, and then I suffered from postnatal depression, and Destiny was a really good way to, I suppose, kind of not hide from it, but like with the postnatal depression that I had, it was very, very difficult for me to leave the house. I had a lot of friends that I kind of lost contact with over the years, and then especially after I had Willow. She's now 4. It was very, very difficult for me to go outside and be able to meet people, because it was just anxious, terrified feeling, and so gaming became the way that I socialize. Destiny 2 was the second game I've ever pre-ordered. The first one was Borderlands 2.
Shout out to Borderlands.
Borderlands. I did
gotta give it up. We got some Borderlands fans here. They gonna like that. They gonna definitely slow-mo. I see you smiling. But yeah, continue.
Like, I forgot to say, I'm a huge fan of Borderlands. Borderlands
Nice.
2 will always be my favorite game. Maya is the one that's in my heart. So I got into Destiny 2 on the Xbox, and I was playing it, I was having fun, and then I was in a relationship, and we had talked about multi-streaming. So basically it would be me and him on one channel streaming together and everything like that. However, he wasn't the biggest fan of Destiny, and then after that he actually found like a night job. So I ended up just, continuing on my channel, and
Gotcha.
it just kind of continued from there. So I've been doing this for 2.5 years now.
Wow,
very cool.
It's been amazing. It's been slow and steady and everything that I kind of wanted. I've laid that foundation of fun and positivity and just gaming. And then so I became quite I got into quite a few communities on Twitch, and one of them was James' work.
Nice, salute to work. Yeah, good
guy.
guy.
Yeah. And so I started on I was obviously still on Xbox, and then I moved over to PC, and I've got to tell you, I've barely gone back to Xbox since.
Yeah, those frames are kind of nice, ain't they?
Yeah.
I switched and I haven't touched it since. Literally one day, done.
That field of view and the frames kind of nice, ain't it?
So I started helping James with teaching raid runs and stuff, and since then, that's like I cut my teeth on Spire to Stars. Spire to Stars is the one that I ran.
You cut him real hard there.
Oh, I love it. So a lot of people hate Spire, but I love it. Spire is probably Spire's up there on some of my favorite raids.
Can I call you when it's time for me so I get the catalyst? Because I don't want to do that raid.
I got you. Kind of.
I gotta holler at you because I hate that raid. But all right, so tell me. I know we're going off history, but why do you like Spire so much? I have to know this.
It's the mechanics. It's one of the few raids that everybody has to. Leviathan, you can have 3 people that know what Leviathan, you can have 3 people that know what you're doing, and you've got 3 people that can just sit in a blooming corner, or like just sit and shoot some arrows and stuff like that. And then Leviathan is more, to me. Leviathan feels like a game show. It's not a raid. I give you that.
I give that's not wrong.
Yeah,
so.
Leviathan feels like callous American Ninja. Do what I want you to do, and then fight me at one encounter. I give you that. I'll give you. I'll absolutely give you that. Continue.
So Spire to me is, although it sadly followed the line that Bungie started with, you start with this encounter. Hey, this is teaching you how to do this, and then hey, you're going to do this for I think it was the first raid in Destiny 2 that actually really properly did that. Like your first encounter is basically getting used to how the mechanics are going to work, and then that was it.
Pass the ball greed.
Yeah. But for me, I think Spire Endrim is where everybody has to be on the ball and has to
That is true.
You know,
Yep.
you have to have 4 people. You cannot 3-man that raid. You can 3-man all the way up to the first encounter, but you can't do it. You have to have 4 people on the plates.
Mhm.
You have to have 2 people that know what they're doing,
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff, you know?
Mhm.
So for me, Spire was, at the time when Spire came out, Spire was probably the most difficult raid to do.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Was.
Especially with teaching. So, and a lot of people say that it's really buggy and stuff, and yeah, there can be some bugs, but sometimes it is actually down to people just not understanding how the mechanics work as much.
That I might not understand.
I feel like
never-
James said the same thing. He's like, "Oh, it's not buggy. I'll just show you how to do it." And I was just like laughing on the inside.
Shots.
Yeah.
I mean, there is bugs. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've seen the bugs and I've experienced them, but I don't think it's as buggy as some people.
The
would
people
say.
make it to see. Well,
Well, I
fair
mean,
enough.
because like people will say, and when they're doing prestige, oh, I haven't seen them armed. I haven't seen them armed. The thing, what you've got to remember is that Spire of Stars, as well as Eater, and that, so that changes when you're in a prestige Spire. The messages intentionally don't come up.
Right.
You have to trust in your team and your fire team to see that it's actually armed and everything like that. But I love that. I'm a platformer. I love platformers,
man.
and I love
now
mechanics.
it makes sense.
Yep.
And that's why I love Kingsfall so much.
Ooh,
Because
he's smiling right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm gonna hear you guys gush over this raid. Continue.
Like the mechanics and the platforming and everything was huge for me because Kingsfall, like, so I encountered Crota first, with the team. And Crota was, I thoroughly enjoyed Crota. I can understand why people view it as like a strike. It's not really a raid. But as someone who
Wow,
I saw that
harsh,
hand. But for someone who was new, Destiny brought something entirely new to me. I had never encountered raiding. I've never encountered 6 people working together and that's something that a lot of people still don't experience that have never played Destiny. And actually quite a lot of the Destiny population have never done a raid.
Talk about it, Adi.
Those
Talk about it.
percentages are so low.
So low, and it's a shame because it's some of the best content. And like you said, that's literally what made me stay with the game. Once I experienced it, it was game changing to me. I had never done anything like that on console. So again, like you said, the 6 people, mechanics, playing together, trusting your teammates, learning stuff, all those things. It's a bonding experience when you complete it. So I completely agree with you.
So Spire is up there for one of those raids because it does have mechanics and it has the movement, and the platforming section is one of my favorites. It really, really is.
So if you cut your teeth... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask, you keep saying platformers. I just want to know, like, what platformers did you, like, grow up on, stuff like that? Where'd the platforming love come from?
So I say platforming because that's what it is. But I think for me, my love of exploring and jumping and everything comes from Tomb Raider. Because with Tomb Raider, you went everywhere. You could climb, you could jump, Tomb Raider really fostered my love for puzzles in games, for critical thinking, for like, okay, if I do this, this is going to happen. And sometimes Tomb Raider was really obvious, and other times it really wasn't. The Angel of Darkness had me tilted for like 3 months because I couldn't figure out the Da Vinci puzzle. It was so with Tomb Raider and then that kind of like exploration and puzzle solving and just the movement kind of like really fostered my love for that. So like when I'm in a raid and I'm like, oh, I have to do jumping and it's not linear. That's I hate having to like GOS. GOS is probably one of my least favorite raids. It's very pretty. It is
spicy take. I want to hear this. Good. This is spicy.
Visually, it's wonderful. It really is. Mechanically, it's boring.
You don't like the conga line? You don't want to tether your rope?
Like,
Okay. Interesting. Not a fan. Interesting.
No, honestly, I think at this stage, I'm just tired of having to. Okay, to be fair, the Harpy boss fight, the actual fight where you kill the Harpy boss, is great. I like that.
Yeah.
Right. That's cool because it's moving. It's a moving boss.
It's a moving.
encounter.
Yeah.
I am sick of standing in one place.
Okay, got it. And then melting. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gotten to the stage now where this is like, if we had a raid boss that's like the Prophecy dungeon boss.
I was just that came to my mind because I was like, she got to love Prophecy now
Oh,
because
so
the
good.
plates, the movement. I get it now. And
I love it.
It satisfies your platforming love with the hops and then I got you, Adi. I got you.
Constantly, the constant moving and everything is super. It adds an extra layer instead of just standing in a well or standing in a bubble and melting the
DPS.
boss. Yeah. Like I love it. Like I love the fact that so Riven. Okay.
Careful, Adi. Careful. We talk about Last Wish now. Careful.
The full mechanics Riven boss fight is my favorite in this. Don't worry, I got you. Don't get me wrong.
I was getting nervous.
I love the fact that we can feel so powerful that we can give her a manicure. And we can just, send her away.
We literally did. I did that last night. Like, just melted
Did
the
you?
whole raid with swords. Actually, with every boss, swords done. Every single boss you can do right now.
Swords is so powerful right now, and I love that.
I
really do love that.
I do.
Like, swords is in a different. Instead of us, swords have a little bit of a risk factor to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you have to be right there.
Absolutely.
I like that. I don't. I'm not a big fan of sitting in the back in a well and firing Izanagi or you know what I mean.
Or Xenophage.
There's Xenophage. Yeah.
What? Yeah. Pick your giant weapon.
To be fair, that's what we'll use on a garden boss. We'll use Xenophage because right now we can't go near it with a shotgun or anything, just because we can't get that.
Exactly.
Because it rises in the air.
They made it float in the air.
They made it.
Exactly. Exactly. If I could kill that thing with swords, I would. I'm going to maybe attempt at some point the Temptations hook and just try to see if you can heavy attack it to death.
That would be funny.
Hilarious. But yeah, so Spire is probably up there in one of my favorite raids. It kind of goes, so if we're just talking D2, it's Last Wish, Crown of Sorrow, Spire.
Wow, Spire's high.
Eater.
Wow.
GOS.
Wow.
Yeah, it's low. It's low. GOS. And then Leviathan.
And then Leviathan last.
And then no. Then SOTP.
Scourge. Yeah.
Ooh.
So although the boss fight is interesting with Scourge,
yes,
the reason I hate that raid so much is because I spent 18 hours in it 2-manning it. So my hatred of Scourge is well known.
Neo Jedi says lies. We all know Adi's favorite raid is Scourge.
But yeah, I think to me as well, SLTP wasn't that. Wasn't engaging to me. I get it, there was mechanics and there was movement and stuff like that, but to me, so I thrive in chaotic environments. So Phase 2 Crown of Sorrow
Gotcha.
is the butter to my bread. I love that. I love the chaos.
And I'm gonna assume Shuro-Chi, Last Wish, also kind of the movement and all the chaos going and getting on the place, everybody synchronized and move, again, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. The only thing that I don't like about it, so I have a bit of a hate-love relationship with Shuro-Chi. I love the encounter. I hate it because I had to run it so often for Witch challenge.
Oh, there you go.
We accidentally managed to do a Witch challenge on a Petra run because we were that careful.
Wow.
Jeez.
So the problem with Shuro-Chi is the laser that she fires that you have to avoid being hit by. If it hits a tether, a wall, or anything that you produce as a guardian, that counts against you.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what I think that's why I dislike that part so much. Because you know,
you guys got like special rules going on. Like,
Yeah,
you
she's
really
got very specific
perfectionist.
hatreds of this one
Yeah.
section, facet of this encounter turned sideways on its head.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there's some encounters that I just don't like.
No, fair enough.
I think probably one of my, like, if I was to look at Leviathan, for example, I think one of my favorite fights would have to be Callus himself.
Yes,
I've always
me too.
gone in Void
I
Room.
love the plate and yeah.
Yeah.
The Void Room is really, really good. And that's movement, and you have to trust in your teammates, because cross-shooting those scions, man, otherwise you're booped and you're gone.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, I've spent some hours in a Prestige Leviathan.
Yeah, it's not fun when you don't got the good chemistry and a good synchronization with a team. Yeah,
No,
for sure.
but like every individual raid can be looked at, and there is positives and there's negatives towards it. I know a lot of people hate Crown, and I understand it, because the first encounter takes 2 rotations too long. It's insane. I don't understand why it took so long. But the rest of the raid, like the entire time you spend in the boss room, I love it, because it's chaotic energy. It's just like you have to run here and go. You know what I mean?
We can talk about
and it's got a jumping, like literally jump, shoot, just to get there. So again, speaking right to you.
Platforming. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
It makes sense. You got some questions for Adi?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously you're huge in the PvE like world and carries and stuff like that, but also a fan of the world of Gambit. So 2 questions. One, just kind of the status of Gambit right now, because I know when Gambit started, like when they did like the kind of initial tournament that was very set loadout stuff like that versus how we are now. Where do you think like just Gambit is currently in a status? And then the second question for you, since you probably have a good opinion on it, where do you think it's going to end up with Beyond Light when it kind of sinks down into one mode?
Right now, I think Gambit's in a bad place. As someone who is like, I am a huge fan of Gambit, clearly, you know what I mean? But I played a lot of it, Season of the Drifter. I took part in the UK tournament that was run. We nearly got to the finals. Very, very close, but it was fine.
I feel like we had Zoe on, who was in that too.
Yep.
Zoe won, I believe.
Yeah,
yes.
She did. Yep.
She did. But I think Gambit right now is in a really bad place with the amount of overpowered weapons we have. You can start with say normie Gambit with the 2 rounds, you can 3 rounds technically. You can start a boss melt without even having to kill the envoys, because you've got Oppressive Darkness and you've got swords.
Yes.
And a bubble. And that boss is melted within like 10 seconds.
Oh yeah. I've seen him go down so fast this week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. The other problem is obviously invading. Invading is so it's very highly debated, right? But I think that personally, invading is an integral part to Gambit. Yep. If you took away invading, then it's a race to see who can kill the boss first.
Right, absolutely.
You know? Which is interesting. Like I would definitely like to try Gambit just one,
boss rush type.
Boss rush race, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Right.
But I think invading adds that extra element that involves the PvP player.
Yes.
I think a lot of people seem to forget that Gambit is a PvEVP, so that more PvP players can get involved and they can actually feel like they're doing what they think is their skill set, which is going in, invading, and taking care of, basically hampering the other team, sabotaging the other team. When Gambit Prime came out with the armor sets are amazing, but they need tuned. They really do. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Sentry set and the Collector set are wildly underwhelming compared to like Invader and Reaper. Reaper is very, very powerful, but I think personally it's balanced. I don't think there's anything overpowered with Reaper. Right. You get the added bonus to damage when you hit a large target and everything like that. The Invader set definitely needs tuned as, you already get an overshield when you go over. Yep. Adding an extra layer of protection is very difficult to overcome, and that's why, personally, I feel that's why like Xenophage, like Hammerhead reigned supreme for so long. All of these, all of the weapons that we start to complain about, that people use for invading or they use to counter invaders, is because I think it's born. I see it as it's been born because of Gambit Prime and how powerful
those invaders are. The shield, or just in
how powerful invaders can be. They also need to. I don't think the invaders. Now, I was an invader main. Right. That's what I did. That was my role whenever we played Gambit. I think that they need to definitely tune down the overshield, and they definitely need to take down the wall hacks. I think that honestly, I think they should tune it so you get a pulse when you start. When you go through the portal and you get a pulse, just they're here, and then it disappears for like 15 seconds. And then boom, another pulse, and then that's it. That's the only indications you have of where they are. So you actually have to go hunting.
Hunt. Okay, so just to cut you out. So basically, what you're saying is you don't want the invader to always have the wall hack to know exactly where they are. You want that pulse, then it goes blank, and they literally have to hunt for the guardians, so they don't just can beeline. Okay, I see where you're going with it.
Yeah.
I see where you're going.
So they kind of go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the big thing about that is you can't ever flank an invader. I mean, unless you truly teleport behind them on the couple maps that you can do that. If they have that like giant wide field of view, especially on like PC for like what's coming at them, I picture just like the forest one on EDZ in that corner when they start by the beach, you can see everything and they know like, are you going around? Are you going through the middle? Like they know where you're coming from. So it's like, just waiting on you. So it'd be nice just to have an idea of be like, oh, I think they were coming this way, but you juke around the building and maybe catch them from the side. They wouldn't see it as much. Yeah, I totally.
So,
go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just so
you're the expert.
My idea for the Sentry set.
Yes.
Is
what you want? What we doing?
I want it to kind of be the flip side of Invader. So when an invader comes, so the Sentry is meant to take care of blockers and they mark invaders. Now they only mark invaders when they actually hit them. I think that they should be able to mark invaders if they have a line of sight.
I like that.
Okay.
It's almost like a ping. But what I also think that Sentry should have a good... The problem right now, right, is if you play an awful lot of Gambit, you'll start to recognize where they're going to spawn. The spawn points are obvious. However, if they end up adding more maps at the end of... with Beyond Light, I think Sentries should be able to just get a pulse as well.
Okay.
So, like an indication. I don't think the Sentries should have the secondary pulse.
Okay.
Because one pulse should be enough to tell your team if you're running stacked.
Right.
Tell your team, right? Okay.
Like, hey, boom, over there, and then that's it. Yeah.
And then if you end up seeing him, it's marked, and you can, the mark would last maybe 5 seconds, 6 seconds or something. It wouldn't be, the problem is if you, that I find is that if you have something that's continuous the entire time, it's kind of game breaking. Which is why invaders are so bloody powerful. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You know everybody at? You see the number of the motes on the head. They know who to target. Yeah. Like the invader got the advantage when they come, and the overshield, they got the advantage.
And then in Prime, they literally teleport over and the bank shuts.
Yes.
So like, I think it only locks the bank when you have the full invader set.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think that sounds right.
Yeah. And you're able, obviously, to drain the moats and stuff. I think that when they condense it down, what I would like to see is one round. Because let's be real, when you're trying to do your 3 or 4 Gambit matches,
that's
you
where
always
Prime
go to
shines.
Prime. That's where Prime goes. Because you don't want to be doing potentially 3 rounds per Gambit match to get your powerful done.
Right.
Or your pinnacle, pardon me. I want to see it condensed down, so one map. Not one map, but like one round.
Yep.
I want the armor sets to still be in there because the
Me
armor
too.
sets are so wonderful. It's such a brilliant idea.
Can they look better though? Can they look better? Because I don't like the
need
Warlock
them.
set. I'm not a fan.
They do need to kind of.
Can we get some aesthetically pleasing Gambit set? Because I am not. I feel like he looks like a hobo. I don't like my Warlock at all. At all.
I was like, I didn't mind the Titan Invader one, but
The Warlock's terrible.
Titan, yeah, the Invader set always looks kind of nice. The Hunter, I think, has the better.
Yeah,
of
Hunters
all
always
three
look
classes. Yeah,
the cloaks,
we kind
man.
of do.
It's the cloaks. Cloaks. You get like this
Hoods, the
giant,
cloaks, you know?
giant. It's just a giant sheet of decoration that Bungie has fun with every time, as opposed to here's a shoulder pad you can't see through, and then Warlock's over here just wearing a dress. So
Wearing the dress with the snake emblem.
with your little arm bracelet, be like, hold on, I gotta cut off circulation in my arm. I gotta make my bicep look good.
My bangle.
So,
Not fair.
what I would like to see is get rid of Reckoning. We don't need Reckoning. We really don't need it. I think that it was very ambitious to think that we would enjoy going to a separate game mode to earn things for a different game mode.
Agreed.
Or they could have easily put on secondary perks on the Gambit armor, like the stuff you get from Reckoning, to be able to protect you better in
Reckoning. That was the worst part.
Yeah.
You earn stuff in a PvE activity for the PvEVP mix, but it didn't even help you in what you earned it in. So as you got better in there, that didn't get. That's a whole in-game issue right now, even in raids. But that's still,
Yeah, I would think Reckoning's got to go also from a lore standpoint. Now we've kind of moved on. Prophecy, you know, I would assume that they're not going to tie those two anymore when they decide on this one Gambit mode and move forward. Hopefully,
I mean, from a lore standpoint, it's going to be interesting. So, the Reckoning was basically to test us and everything like that. Now. Especially with how they should, how the emissary and how the 9 work with the Drifter. Obviously it's all coming to point now. You know, the sword, the hourglass, and the sword, hourglass, and there was something else, and I can't remember what it was. But obviously it all ties together with Exo Stranger, with Eris, and with the Drifter.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's a different tangent. I could talk about lore all day.
We always enjoy that too. Don't worry. Feel free to fall down those rabbit holes at any time.
But I think they definitely need to get rid of Reckoning, and you need to be able to earn the Gambit Prime armor in Gambit. Yes. Give us challenges to do. I know people hate bounties. Don't give us bounties. Tie it to triumphs instead. So you have to earn it. I don't want. So this is going to be slightly spicy.
All right, get spicy now. You get spicy.
We're going to get spicy. It should not just be handed to you. You should have. This is a looter shooter grind game. You should not have to be. You shouldn't. It's so
let's
hard
say it.
to...
You already there. You're
just
on the edge. You might as well dive in now.
Just you're on the diving board. Just head first. Commit to it right there.
Just don't whine that you can't get something because you haven't put the time into it.
Ooh.
You know, it's like anything
you don't want the season pass to just hand you an exotic when you log in. What?
Honestly, no. I think that's.
I hate that crap too. Trust me, I'm with you.
I hate that.
We fully support you. I'm pretty sure we both do. So
we support you on that.
No, that's kind of one of those things for me that's bugged me since they started the season pass. Is you log in and you're given an exotic. I'm like, you're just devaluing exotics every single time you do that.
It really doesn't feel good.
Exotics aren't exotic anymore.
No.
What is more exotic is the pursuit weapons that we had, like Revoker and Mountaintop and Recluse.
Yes.
All of those kind of weapons were more exotic the exotics that we have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They are, however, not to bash Bungie too much, they are doing better. Ruinous Effigy has got to be one of the best exotics
So cool.
I have used in Destiny 2.
So cool.
A Wither
I
Horde
like
for just
Wither Horde.
Wither Horde and Suro Cheat.
Oh, ad
Wither
clearing?
Horde is
Oh my God.
amazing. Yeah.
Puddle the ground.
Yeah, that type of stuff is great. Like, and the way they, if they can again continue to like, if they evolve, like Trinity Ghoul. Oh, I forget what I was just running. Oh yeah, I was doing just public events, and it was just all over EDZ, and you just have the Fallen Glimmer public event. It's just all the drop ships, and just like and just chaining lightning constantly. I'm like, this is so much fun.
Oh,
But yeah, there's a lot that don't. And I think the other pieces too, now we've had, when you get into the higher activities, I say this probably every time, so sorry everybody, but you can start counting the episodes that's in there. The fact that exotics you're pushed away from them in so many high level activities with the champions, especially if you need to do one overload and one other, unless you're going to go with like, everybody's going to use Ariana's Vow and everybody, like there's only certain ones you're pushed away from so many others. I'd like to see, again, the variety there as well.
I mean, they are trying to fix it. I think they're toying with fixing that now, because obviously we've got the Unstoppable Pulse mod for armor.
Yeah, that's the first time, and I was
that's
like,
the first creep into that zone that we're talking about that needs to happen. I agree.
I think they are starting to. I think they are starting to play with that, because it's going to enable us to be able to use these exotics. Because I mean, let's be real. How often have we said, "Oh, do you have Izanagi's on?" Oh, if I run Izanagi's, are you going to run Ariana's, Anarchy, everything like that? But like, for me personally, my loadout for Grandmasters right now is Izanagi's, a pulse rifle, and a sword.
Okay, so you got your distances covered. You got Izanagi long. You got okay. I see what you're doing. Cool.
And then with the armor, I'm mostly as a hunter main, I never take off Dragon Shadow. I use Dragon Shadows and Dragon Shadow in PvE and PvP, because that exotic is hugely undervalued right now, and I've been shouting about it for like the past 8 months. And then recently there was a video.
That's so good. You make it. I
was like, for the people who don't know, remind them what Dragon Shadow does. For the ones who have forgotten.
Dragon Shadow. So, base what it does is when you dodge, you get granted Wraith Mail or
Wraith Mail Metal or something.
Metal, yeah. And what that does is it reloads every single one of your weapons. Doesn't matter if you've got it equipped or not. It gives you max handling. It basically gives every gun snapshot, and also it gives you 100 mobility. If so, it adds an extra 5 tiers in this 8 seconds. It adds an extra 5 tiers of mobility. So if say you're looking at PvP, and you want to be, for me, Dragon Shadow makes sense to me, because it reloads my weapons and it gets me. I can use the bottom dodge, the gambler's dodge, and it can get me out of encounters that I probably won't win. So it reloads all of the weapons, and then I can have if I have my mobility 50 or more, it will give me my dodge back in a total of 9 seconds.
Wow,
that's so insane.
That's powerful.
For 8.
That's powerful.
So you can constantly live in Wraith Metal, and it's really, really, really good in PvE, because say you're trying to like in a Grandmaster, if you're up against something and goodness has just put up a shield. My Ariana's isn't reloaded, because
we'll go ahead and hold it down. That's probably my fault.
Ariana's not been reloaded anymore, because I've got the bloomin' the Catalyst now, which is all
okay. Nice, yeah, Catalyst is nice.
But like, say something, I'm trying to fight something and my weapon's not reloaded, I dodge, and as soon as because it
back
adds,
in the mix.
It adds the handling and then it adds the snapshot, I can then instantly start to counter it. It's a very, very powerful passive exotic, I suppose, because it doesn't change anything. Like Stompies, I know a lot of people are a fan of Stompies. I genuinely don't understand why, because I tend to over jump things on Stompies rather than, and I use Stompies for one thing, and that's the Whisper mission.
or whisper.
It's the only time I use.
Mm-hmm. No, I
It's the
feel
only
you.
time I use.
But that's kind of
Solstice.
one of those that it's nice to have exotics like that for if you especially get yourself used to it at all, that are useful all the time. I can't stand the exotics that are, upon getting to critical health, or if you're near dead, or if you're dead, or if it's just for your super for like that one use. Like,
Yeah.
if you get to use your exotic and
I
changes
agree.
the way you play, like
Mhm.
80% of the time, you actually
Right.
get to enjoy that a lot more
Mhm.
than when you cast your super, you get an overshield. I'm calling out
Yeah.
Eternal Warrior, for example,
No,
just
bro,
the
I'm
most.
calling out. Yeah,
Those
there's
like
a Stormcaller coat for the Warlock that's the same way. Like, oh, it's more powerful when you get your super. And I'm like, okay, but then the rest of the 80% of the time that I don't have this super, this is useless.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there should be secondary functionality. Yeah, I completely agree. Continue, I'm sorry.
yeah,
No,
no,
you're fine.
yeah. So that's all I was
That's-
basically saying is like I completely agree. Like those ones where if you dodged, your handling and weapons are faster and reloading, as you said, almost snapshot, and you get that every time you dodge, and you pair it up with mobility, and you're all of a sudden like running that way the whole time. You get to feel badass like most of the time, which is cool,
Mhm.
as opposed to cool. My super is awesome, and then I got to wait 5 minutes.
Mhm.
Doesn't
Mhm.
quite have the same ring to it.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to ask Adi real quick because I know we went raid for a little bit and stuff like that. And I know I saw E's face perk during the King's Fall mention. So, yes, as is Adi's right now. So, listen, I got no beef with King's Fall. It's not my number one, but it's up there. But I wanted to ask you, like, okay, King's Fall specifically, because I saw some stream names, some titles, Adi. You was like, don't at me, King's Fall, best, don't at
Yep.
me. So now is the time I'm adding you. What's up with King's Fall? Break it down why you love it so much.
King's Fall. Okay, to start off with, I'm a huge lore nerd. I love lore. I love reading the stories. I love getting fully immersed in a world.
Mm-hmm.
And the lore behind the Hive and the Taken captures, like, basically captured me more than anything else in this game. Like any other lore. And just I think. So obviously Crota was okay. It was like, honestly, Crota's probably got one of the best opening, to be fair, because let's be real, you're in the labyrinth and you're terrified because it's all dark and thrall are coming at you. It's good. Crota's good.
Good aesthetic.
Yeah. But King's Fall was the daddy. And it was like, okay, all right, we're gonna for me, I think it was just the difference in encounters. Yes. And there was an element of standing still and shooting at the boss Golgoroth, for example. You jumped in the pool, you just stood there and you just fired into his stomach. But if he fired at you for more than 2 seconds, you were dead.
Yeah.
That's it.
I honestly I think that King's Fall itself, it really touched, obviously, on the platforming with the wall. I won't use the term I normally use for that wall.
No, you're fine.
PG.
Yeah.
And the erection section.
The phallic wall.
Yes, the phallic wall. That's it. Yes.
Wall, yeah.
I think that, and then the boss fight itself. It's rare that you get overwhelmed by how large the raid boss is.
Yes.
Good point. Good point.
When I first started that raid and Oryx just kind of rose up, I was like, oh, hi.
Yeah. Oh, there were reaction videos to that when people are like, just like running the other way and everything. But that was, I totally agree, because we finally got, and unfortunately we had that. And then you have something like Warmind where you totally did disservice to like a worm god.
Yeah.
Like on the other side. But we got to see like a Taken, by the lore, top 3 Hive, entity, basically. And then you got to see him ascend, and you're just like, holy doo. And you're just like, you have to beep it out, because, when his hand slams down and you're just like looking at his hand and you're like, it's bigger than me. Like, it's the scale they made in that whole room was fantastic.
Yeah.
There may be nothing below his pecs on that in that room for his model. He may just like move around like this, so there may be nothing else. But from there up, looks fantastic.
No, you're absolutely right. It's the sheer sense of scale that you feel like you are fighting a boss. You are fighting, you know what I'm saying, the Hive King. It is, I have to admit, he's definitely one of the most imposing bosses I think they've ever made.
I think
that's why I actually like Riven as well, because I miss that epic scale. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a good point. That's a good point. I would agree with that.
Yeah, the other
I
side.
think
I was just going to say, for me, like the War Priest fight too is, I like how it escalated because the way it was like, you know, the big flash and everybody had to hide for a minute. And then you're like frantically cleaning stuff out, standing on the plates, communicating and everything. The War Priest fight, I know Golgoroth is like, some people hold really high because you've got like the room and the pools and everything. But the War Priest fight, when it went smooth, was cool. But teaching people that at first and not standing in the right place, and the War Priest fight was always kind of cool as well. And just, again, it's like it seemed to escalate as you go. Like War Priest was decent size. Golgoroth was this ugly mother. And then you had the pair of sisters, like they scream at you and they're mad. And then just, it went to like level 12. And I was just like, damn. So like, I don't know. When
Go for a nap,
it
baby.
escalated well too. And as you said, the lore, Crota, dead son, pissed off dad, comes in, melts half the soul. Like, the lore implication, that was still some of my favorite too. Hence why the Witch Queen is one I'm probably most excited about as well.
Oh, yes. I cannot wait to finally face Savathun. It's going to be great. I think the other thing with especially, so I see a lot of people that complain about the Kingswell boss fights is that you have to detonate those orbs or, you know, blah, 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 blah. The thing is that there's more intricacy to the boss fight itself anyway. You know, that's just, yeah, sure, that's how you do damage to Oryx, but there's a lot of moving parts to it as well. Like, you have the designated runner. That's another thing, is the fact that you have teams doing things. It was me too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's you have teams doing things. You got the 3 people that jump on. You've got the people that stay in the middle and try and keep the enemies away. You've got the person running up at the top, and then like trying to be really fast, and then there's the knight, and then the boss fight itself was really, really, to me, at the time, it was really intricate, and there was a lot going on, and like I said, chaotic energy, I love it.
There you go. Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
I think Kingsfall, I felt, although Crota to me was a raid because it was the first thing I experienced. I didn't think I did Crota before I did Vogue. Vogue to me.
Careful.
Oh no, say it. I gotta hear this one.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I think it's overrated.
Ooh, she was doing so well.
Well, it's nice having you on, Addie. We're going to wrap up the episode. And it has been.
No, it's love. We respect all opinions, even when they're wrong. But it's okay. It's okay. No, please, explain why you feel it's overrated. Okay,
so don't get me wrong. Okay, I am not diminishing, because obviously a lot of people look back at Vogue and they love it because it was their first raid. It was the first thing they'd ever experienced raiding wise in Destiny.
And I understand. Sorry, continue. I'm being messy. Continue. Pay me no mind. I'm being emotional. Please continue.
Yeah.
And I get that. There's a lot of nostalgia. There's a lot of rose tinted glasses, really, when you look back at Destiny 1. As a whole, when you look back at D1, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, Destiny 1 was so good, blah, 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 blah. But then I still hear from people that there was like 9 months of content drought.
Oh, no,
how is that better than D2 now? Although it's not a lot, we're still getting content dropping throughout the year. For people that are like, don't get me, Destiny was an amazing introduction to the universe. But I think a lot of people like to really look back at the really good things about Destiny 1 and not look at the bad things.
Hold on, I gotta stop you. Are we implying that Destiny 2 is the overall better experience than Destiny 1?
No.
Oh, really?
If you take away year one, if you take away year 1 of Destiny 2, then yes. Year 1 was an abysmal.
Year 1 was abysmal.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Okay, so you have 3 years and 3 years right now.
Yeah.
The overall encompass, like the 3 years versus 3 years. How's that feel?
So I can't really speak from what I know.
Okay, fine. 2 years and 3 years. That's what you got. You got 5.
Let's
you
go.
got something. You played Crota, so you got to experience that. You got King's Fall if you spend enough time in there. So you got half of D1 versus
Rise
D2.
of Iron.
I think D2 is definitely better than D1.
Spicy.
Oh, I agree though. Like I'm D1 was something for console that had never been done. Bungie went through and made Halo as one of the first shooters for Xbox. It was a special moment because Halo in itself changed the game for shooters. They're like, you can't do it on console. Done. Like you did
Watch
that.
us.
Bungie once again made something special for shooters in a game with raids and PvE and putting this world together that people get like hooked into. And honestly, like they've taken everything from D1 that was a good foundation. But if you take away the rose tint of living through that, year one of D2, not the best.
Awful.
I mean, it was like the double primaries, a lot of bad decisions. But you used to go like Forsaken was one of the best things that has ever happened over the course of this history of everything. You had the story with the two like the Dreaming City surprise, the fact that we got the Shattered Throne, the scale of the Last Wish dungeon. Apparently we dabbing right now, so that's totally fine. I love how the guest does it too. But also you've got things like, we've now got exotic catalysts for the first time. We've got mods that as the game continues to evolve, they're learning and growing it. And like, I know right now we're going to have a drought for 3 months because you got August of, Solstice of Heroes, which some people may burn through in a week if you're crazy, but it's, it's a grind. We'll talk about it here in a little bit because, we got into a tangent here of an hour, but that's fine. we got about a down month in the middle, which I don't expect a whole lot. We're going to finish Traveler's Chosen, but, normal timing aside, like Beyond Light, honestly is something I'm extremely excited for because it feels like it has the weight of another Forsaken. And again, like the King's Fall expansion, like King's Fall, Taken King expansion, Forsaken, and now we get another one. But it's just like the way it's continued to evolve, like D2's only, like D2 year one is the big giant asterisk in the corner of that statement. But
that we just conveniently ignore him. But
no, I'm not. I'm not. But I would say in the overall thing, we're on season 11. We had, expansion. We had Taken King, and then we had Rise of Iron. We had 9 months. We had like 10 months basically with an April update. With an April update. So, yeah, just overall, like the two packages and the evolution of things that we've learned. Yeah, there was a giant like face plant in the beginning, but they picked themselves up, like cleaned themselves up, and I think we're ahead of where D1 got to. Personally,
I think, I think the thing is that a lot of people kind of hated on the first year because that's what they put out. It was awful, and it was also
hold on, which was worth D2 year one or season of Unworthy?
Oh, they don't even get me started with that. I forgot about that. That was just recent. We just this is interesting. This is interesting, man. Ooh,
but also there wasn't even a season of Unworthy. There wasn't even an attempt of something in D1. It was just
exactly.
Oh, wow. I don't want to derail this because this could go left. All I will say is that, wow, we have forgotten. I will say this.
I remember it all. I'm just saying.
I will say this. I will give you quality of life improvements. I will give you that to make things more easier, ease of access, stuff like that. But I felt D1 from a hardcore MMO standpoint, with the skill trees, the customization. Then when it gets down to the raids, and we have talked about this, I'm very surprised with she's got the heart, which is in reference when you did the raids and you had the raid specific gear that actually helped with. I just felt there were things in D1 that were perfectly done that didn't necessarily need to be changed. Not all things, but the majority of the core mechanics I felt that didn't need to be changed. I think they got too cute at the start of D2 and tried to simplify things. Yeah, and make,
casualize.
And you know, I will say this. You know, yes, there were
You
droughts.
guys get to talk now.
Yeah, please do, please do. There were droughts, right? But where I differ, Adi, is that I feel that what ended up happening was it was so bad. Oh yeah, he's got to work, y'all. He's got to work.
He's
Who
got to
put
do
the
the
points
push-ups.
in? Here we go. Hold on, we got to stop the show. Here we go. We are getting live and direct, putting the point. Look at this. This is right now. We're in a pandemic, y'all. We have to stay fit. We have to stay sharp. And my man E, he took those points and he's working on that. Look at that tremendous push-up form. Did you see that?
Smooth.
Did you see
That
that?
was some smooth
This is
push-ups.
the entertainment we provide here
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
last
yeah.
word. You know what I'm saying? You're getting your good cardio in. Fantastic point redemption, y'all. I'm feeling it. He did it.
So I think what we've got to remember as well
Yes.
is that Bungie was very much under the thumb of Activision.
Yes.
They were faced with fines if they didn't release the content when they were told to release it. Like they were given a time. If you don't release it here, we're going to fine you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Beyond Light, I think, is going to be the first proper Bungie only
I'm sorry. He's back.
Expansion.
They make him do it again. I'm sorry.
Excellent.
They're making him do it again. And they're off. Round 2 of point redemption. We are now doing sit-ups, y'all. We had the push-ups. We got to get the core. Again, got to get the core tight. Look at the knee placement. Look at we going all the way up. Elbow, touching the knee. Yes, we're really doing this, Neil, because they put the points in and my man has to keep sharp. So as you can see, look at the cheetah. This is fine form. As we're working through a pandemic, Anubis is laughing. This is what we do here. It's all about fitness at the campfire, y'all. We got to stay shape because the gym is not open, so you got to use that personal gym in the crib. He said he's done, so no more points for y'all, but he's got 2 in for y'all. I'm sorry. They cashing in these points, Edith. They evil today. They evil.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Adi. Continue your point.
I think it's going to be really super interesting because Beyond Light is going to be the first expansion release that's purely Bungie. And
Yes.
I feel like this current season, the season that dropped, we're really starting to get a taste of what Bungie can produce. Now, right now, obviously, it's very hard for them to continue doing what it is that they're doing because of the fact that they need to stay home and they're basically creating and managing this game well in the safety of their own homes. I genuinely cannot wait to see what Beyond Light would hold, especially, as something is happening in Beyond Light that we've never had before.
Right.
An entirely brand new subclass.
Yes, that's gonna be fun.
That is, I think
Stasis.
this is going to be, I might be too eager and people are going to say I told you so if things kind of flop, but I think this is going to be the best thing that Bungie has produced yet. And this is why I may go away from Destiny for a little bit, but
we don't
always
go
come
away long.
back.
No.
Yeah, you know?
Fair enough. Fair. No, I hear your points. I love the future. I love the outlook. I love the fact that they are independent. I think that's great. Like I said, my only point, which like I said, back to the D1 thing, I'll finish up, was just that the reason why I can't give D2 over D1, again, like I said, I felt there were a little bit more hardcore MMO sensibilities involved with it that I still prefer. And D1, where people can knock it for the droughts, I will say that D1 never had periods where people were so angry that they're like, screw this game.
They didn't. So the difference is they didn't have anything to be angry at.
Well, the difference is the game wasn't as terrible where they were torching Bungie as if they don't change this, I'm never like there were hate videos during D2. Like they were like, what are you doing videos? Like we can't
Yeah, but we also got
these
dungeons
moments.
in D2.
Okay.
I think
it's good now. It's back now. It's back.
Like, so that's kind of the thing. It's like when you think of the raid rewards, that like some of the in-game rewards, we've talked about this before, and I agree. Like, I want some of the in-game rewards to have raid-specific perks, like the armor sets that we got a tease of in Gambit Prime. Give me armor sets in lots of places, and that's like an idea that's fallen to the wayside, unfortunately. Right. And yeah, we had some of that in D1. We had bigger gaps as well, and there were like revolutions of like the questification of Taken King. That was something that gave people a lot of long-term stuff to do.
Yes.
But in turn, we've been getting continual new stuff to do as well. Has everything hit? No. Has everything? I mean, what was the April update for Taken King? That was pretty small. And we did have Rise of Iron, but there was next to nothing after that. So,
but I think the issue is we're comparing content droughts versus actual content delivered. Content delivered when it came out in D1, for the most part, it was good. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't remember there being, when it dropped, you know, that people were like, yo, this is terrible content. You guys need to rework this. You need to rethink this. There weren't Bungie summits during D1 where we got to talk about what you're doing wrong and why this is incorrect. And that's what I'm trying to say. There were times when I felt people really killed the game. Now, I hear your point, though, in reference to, you know, like, look, there's nothing to do. I've done everything. That, to me, D1 was one of those things. Like, I've done it all. It was great. But now what? And you can't facilitate this content coming in all the time. But to me, that I rather that than, oh my God, what Season of the Unworthy and you know, like Curse of Osiris and, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was some bad moments in D2, like really bad moments.
So would you prefer no content, like 9 months of nothing, or would you?
Yes.
Really?
If every time you give me great content when you do drop, I prefer that.
Oh, I have to disagree.
Fair enough.
Disagree.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able. Destiny to me is a constantly moving world,
Mhm.
and if we have to wait 9 months for another update to the world that we're supposed to play, which basically to me, I know a lot of content creators play this game every day, right?
Mhm.
It's probably not meant to be played as often as we play it, but I feel that if it would genuinely kill the game if we went back to 9 months without anything added to the game.
I
think we're exaggerating with 9 months, but I'm gonna let that pass. It was never 9 months that they went that long, but we'll let that pass. 9 months between it wasn't that long. It was.
I mean, you had Rise of Iron and nothing. You had Taken King and an April update. D1 had the 2 expansions. That's correct, but the other 2 years were minimal for the majority of the year, I would say.
Okay, so little to nothing for most of it. So what, like maybe you would say what, maybe every 4 or 5 months there is a little something added to the game after an expansion.
Right.
I think that would kill the game. I think that would how we are now would definitely kill it. Now, if we were still on console, if PC wasn't a huge thing, I think Destiny would be a lot healthier right now. And I think, I honestly, I think while PC itself is not the issue, I think that Bungie encountered so many issues with PC, because it's a different game.
I understand that. Listen, I like the evolution. I'm not against. I don't want to make this seem like I'm against the evolution of what has happened now. I think they're in a good place. I think that ultimately, you know, as a live service game, yeah, you would like content. But I think they were, in the beginning of D2, they were trying to find that happy space. And when we talked about, you know, the Drifter, like, for example, that was another example of, you know, when a whole season is locked to 2 modes, you know, just going back and forth, we had to tell them, like, look, this is cool, but, you know, we still need to evolve. I still think they were finding themselves during the whole period of D2 to now where we're getting to a good place. You got Prophecy, you got all this stuff, you got a raid and stuff like that. I think they're getting there. You know what I'm saying? I will give you this, though. I will give you Forsaken was amazing. I think that's arguably, you know, the shining light for the thing. I thought Shadowkeep was solid. I still felt, you know, the September.
It could be more.
Yeah, the way I look at D2 is, because we have to be honest, too. We got people like Gathalion and people who say, look, I'm not playing D2 until it's September or November, until it's the big expansion. There's still people who I feel that are hardcore in the Destiny community that won't play the seasonal content. And even though I do feel it's improved, you know what I'm saying? I do feel it's improved. But I think, like I said, they're still finding their way. I like it, but you know, it's just a difference of opinion. That's all. Just a little difference of opinion.
Can I do another spicy hot take there?
Spicy.
Let's spice it.
They're not hardcore players if they're not playing the content through the year. It's as easy as that. It's as easy if you...
No,
Like,
I mean that's if you're dedicated to the game, you're gonna see each season through. Now, some people burn it and switch. Like, I mean, we've both gone through and worked on Ghost of Tsushima because this season has had, some ups, some downs, but you're still. Some people still stay at only just at arm's length. To always be like, okay, it's time for a little Destiny. I'm gonna take a little space, but they're always never too far. Some people like put it in the attic for a month or two and then go get it back out. Like that's or 9 months, depending on if they come back for the big stuff. You have the people that show up for like, oh, we got a new raid, cool, we got this one and stuff like that. And again, Forsaken's year with the multiple studios and like 3 different raids in there, that was an insane year as well, and I don't expect that either. So we're in this weird point. So I kind of wanted to ask you guys as like a compromise, and the timing of Beyond Light being delayed might actually be something they do. I don't know if they will or not. But when it comes to the seasonal pieces, if every 3 months is almost too fast for them to polish it all, like take that extra month and maybe it's 2 drops in the middle, maybe they're more like trimesters going through, and you get like 4 months and 4 months and 4 months as opposed to 3, 3, 3, 3. Like, would you be okay with that spacing for both of you guys to say, hey, it's a 4-month gap. We only get 2, content dumps in between, but those have a little more meat to them. There's a little spacing in between, so there's a little downtime, but not too much. What do you guys think?
Adi?
I like that. I think that would be good. Every 3 months feels like it's a bit, they put themselves in a bit of a crunch. 4 months, but a little bit more. They'd have to balance it so they aren't just feeling like they're still at a crunch, but they've got 4 months between each content drop. But I feel that releasing 3 different raids was, I think part of that was due to the demand of the community. We are always, we devour things so fast. We expect instant gratification now because gaming has changed so much, especially in the last like 5-10 years. So I think that I would love it for 2 raids a year. 1 expansion. Kind of like how they're doing this coming year. As far as I'm aware, VOG won't be landing straight up. I think it might be like 6 months in a year. Maybe I think it's the season following. Yeah. No, I think they need to do that. I think they need to 1 raid at the very start. Now, I will die on this hill if I have to, but they need to stop releasing raids 3 days after the expansion drops.
Yes.
They need to put it a couple of weeks ahead. Now, so my whole thought process behind this: wipe the bounties, wipe anything that's in inventory that holds XP. Change the XP and how it works. Yeah, you need to reward people for doing activities, not for completing blinging bounties. Of course, that's everybody kind of agrees with that. Get rid of the bounties. Like the hoarding. Just get rid of that. We don't need that. Not if we have like 2 weeks before the first raid drops. Right. Like content creators, especially if they want to take place on like a world's first or a day 1 clear, they have to rush through the content. Yep. Right? And Bungie is partly at fault for that. Yeah. Right. Because they hype up the world's races, they hype all that kind of stuff up. And it's like, if you give us something really meaty in an expansion, right? And we're working our way through it, but we have the ability to take our time and really soak in the game. Right. Like, I mean, did either of you participate on a world's first with Garden? Like, did you race to get ready for that? You couldn't really enjoy the content, could you? Because you, in the back of your brain, you were more like, okay, I need to get this done, this done, this done, this done, this done. Yeah, you're trying to race. Character, move on to the next one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and stuff like that. I feel that they need to start spacing out release and then raid release. And I think that's going to be a little bit more beneficial for the game in general as well. Because there's going to be more people that are going to want to try and raid because they've got the time to prepare for that. Right. But the contest modifier is spot on. I actually love the contest modifier.
I do too.
Because it doesn't matter how high you get to.
Right. There's that cap. And
give people time to get there. Take your time. Love Fran Marabella's power per hour thing. Kills me every time I hear it. But yeah, take your maybe you take 2 weeks, maybe you take this, and that's kind of the whole idea is like people, how big can that world's first race get? Like the skilled people like the Glads, the Redeemed, stuff like that, there's skill, there's like a synergy between the people who play together. They're still probably going to be towards the top besides, a casual groups who'd be like, hey, I played for 3 weeks, I'm ready to go. You're still going to get you're still going to get stepped on when you jump in there because you're not used to playing together. You don't have that like raid flow and calling each other out and knowing each other that well, that the top teams are still going to be the top teams. But on the other side, more people would have an opportunity to jump in. As you said, contest levels that playing field, still makes it a pain in the ass. Just because you can't overpower it and like that, the time and spread it and like have like the way they did Dreaming City, like week 1, week 2, week 3. Yeah, the infinite rotation, I hope sometimes fixed, but like build the story over a couple weeks with story as well to build into it. To be like, hey, if we go to Beyond Light, we go to Europa, hey, this thing unlocks. Second week, okay, maybe the pyramid ship, we actually get to explore it. We did something this week and it opens up. Then when we get in the pyramid, then we somehow get access to the raid. Like have it progress over a couple weeks with a little bit of lore to touch into it with the story.
Yes.
And then like
that's cool.
Give everybody time to enjoy some of the content, try out some of the new things, and not make people like no life the game for 4 days without sleep and then go. That's what a lot of them do. Yeah, it's like you. I mean, how much focus and subs can like you literally like? I mean, how much like any of those? But it's like you only need so much caffeine, and those weeks are rough for everybody who tries. It's
grind. It's definitely grind when they raid drops. The content drops on a Tuesday, the raid drops on a Friday. Or whatever, it's definitely intense. I hear where you guys are coming from. It's interesting to see if they will actually change that. I wonder the thought process behind it, whether it be world first, if they're marketing wise trying to capitalize on a new expansion, and then saying, you know what, the fever pitch is now. Let's continue this. There's got to be a reason as to why they don't. Not saying I agree with it. I'm saying like they push it so quickly as soon as the content drop, as opposed to waiting a week or a couple of weeks or whatever. But I do agree with your argument as far as leading into the raid. Like one of the coolest things I felt, even though this wasn't raid, was that when they led into the Dreaming City and they led into the cycle of the dungeon and stuff like that, and that opened that up. Like those are things that are really cool lore wise, where it's just really seamless. It's intricate and it makes sense. So I would definitely love them to do that with raids. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. I think it would be interesting to see. So part of the reason they probably release the raid so quickly is because data miners. So what I would be interested to see is a more solid space between like a more solid like update between raid and so. Tuesday, you hit the update hits, you upload it. It's all the information that you need for the expansion, but the raid stuff isn't in there.
Right.
So a couple of weeks later. So the other thing that I really enjoy about the thought of having it a couple of weeks later is that the only thing that's going to separate you between the ones that have hoarded bounties and stuff, the only thing that's going to separate you guys from the top tier teams is skill and teamwork. That's what you were saying earlier. That's really the only thing that's going to, if people are actually grinding and leveling and, they're really, because if they want to do it, they will grind.
Oh, yeah.
But having the 20 minutes, not 20, sorry, I just read 20 minutes in the chat. Having the 2 weeks out, it enables more people to get on that grind and there's going to be more people going for it. And in the end, it is legitimately going to be down to skill and teamwork, not how high your light level is. And everything like that. And I know we kind of already have that with the artifact, but frankly, I would rather enjoy playing the expansion and stuff like that than spending half of my time in a lost sector grinding bounties to make sure that I'm at least at the minimum light level for the first encounter.
Yeah.
I think that what was I gonna say? So my idea behind the a more solid line between the expansion update and the raid update.
Right.
So obviously data miners are a bit of a pain.
Yeah.
Apart for me personally, I don't like data mining. I don't like spoilers. I don't like any of that. So Tuesday, the expansion drops at updates. It's basically all the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that expansion drop, but anything pertaining to the raid isn't in there. Right? And then you've got the day of the raid, Destiny gets taken down. The update
you were
is
literally
deployed.
where I was going. Keep going.
Yeah, the update gets deployed. You you upload it an hour after reset, so you get that last minute stuff that you may need to do after reset. An hour after that, that's when the raid goes live. You get a ping.
Oh yeah, that'll be perfect.
Ping up on your screen, goes live. That's it. You can go straight in there, and there you go. They need to have the different. They just need to have the files separate, because if you constantly have data miners going in and finding out the stuff about the raids, people are gonna have they are gonna have an unfair advantage. So
no, completely agree. I mean, this has been plaguing them for so long, right? This whole data mining thing, and again, I'm not trying to knock any content creator who is getting, your view count because of this. God bless you. I'm not trying to hate on you.
You're just going to get 2 weeks later. It's not like the raid people aren't going to get
my
watched
whole
that
thing
day.
is, I agree. There is something deflating when you do find out already, you know what I'm saying, what everything is going to be or how something is going to play out and stuff like that. And you miss that surprise aspect. You do miss that, that general sense of, what is going to happen. And it takes away from people's hard work. Let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bungie worked very hard on this content. So if there was a way that they could separate these updates and so that they're not be able to data mine, I just don't know logistically how their studio works, how they implement, expansions, updates and stuff like that. But if there was a way they could do it, yes. I would love for them to do that. So this way you all got that fresh experience. You don't know what's about to happen. That'd be really cool. But Neo Mental says you do realize the developers have to play for separate updates. It may be a cost thing. There may be some logistic thing that we may not privy to as to why it's done the way it is. Because I would assume they cannot like when these videos come out and like, here are the 4 new exotics that's coming. Here's the like everyone's just data mining everything out of it.
I feel like we already, a part of the price that we pay with Beyond Light would be for the raid. They just separated it. So, like, say, without the raid, say it's like $15 or $20 cheaper. And then, so you then
separate
you would have
the player base.
No, what I mean is that more when you pre-order. When you pre-order Beyond Light, right, you're paying the developing fees, you're paying everything like that, and you're paying for the game itself, for the hard work and everything, right? So if you, since the teams are charged per update, they could. So when you pre-order, you're paying for everything essentially, right? And then you'll be covering the you'd be covering the developing fee for the raid drop. I don't know. I feel I get what Neil's saying with that they have to pay for the different updates and stuff. Right. But I think that it might be healthier for the game, but that would be down to Bungie to decide that. And whether that ends up in us paying like a little bit more. Like when you look at the update, what percentage of how much we pay is to do with it how much you like, so basically how much you pay, how much of a percentage of that is to pay for the developer fee. Like how much is actually a developer fee to run this thing. This is what I'm curious about, is that
right.
Like, is it 10%? Is it 20%? So $60. How much of that is going towards the developing fees, and how much is going towards the studio itself and the wages for the? I don't know.
I mean, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. You know, and it's hard, like logistics and how they can separate that, and I don't know. I mean, now I guess to ask a question to you in reference
Mhm.
to you were trying to go with it being separate for in terms of the race specifically. I was trying to get where your mindset was with that. You want it as a separate entity from the update, or like when
If
Beyond Light
it's
comes out in a perfect world,
Mhm, mhm.
how would you want it?
I would want the update files for the raid itself and all the information that
Separate.
it holds to be separate.
Gotcha. Fair
And
enough. Fair enough.
because
Mm.
data miners would get in there and they discover things that
Mhm.
need to be that we
Mhm.
it basically just
Mhm.
make sure that the data miners and the hackers
Mhm.
and everything
Yeah.
don't have as much an advantage. The other benefit to that is if you actually have a paywall between raids, um it could potentially stop cheaters because
Mhm.
so you've got the cheaters in trials and stuff like that, and the
Right.
reason that they cheat so often is because they can earn money from it.
Yeah, I'm with you on trials. Big time on trials.
Yeah, Trials needs
100%.
something
Mm-hmm.
so much.
So you've got the cheaters in trials, and the reason that they can just go up and pick up their prescription for perfect aim is
Right.
just because they earn so much money taking like carrying people
Yeah,
flawless that it doesn't
absolutely.
matter.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And even if I don't think putting a paywall to trials is actually really going to help that because they
Ooh.
earn so much.
Right.
However, if you look at maybe increasing how much you pay,
Mhm.
because I mean, to be fair, when you look at it, the prices of games are going up anyway. Again,
Oh, yeah.
so if you were to look at paying slightly more
Mhm.
and it kind of paywalls the raid, I'm
Mhm.
not saying like a hardcore paywall, but
Mhm.
we're gonna have to start. If Bungie aren't going to keep going with if they're holding back on anti-cheat because they can't develop their own properly on time,
Right.
either they need to look at a third party,
Right.
like I think it's Easy Eye or something.
Yeah.
They need to look at a third party, or they need to start taking more steps between paywalls and maybe taking the game off free to play, because it's been horrific. I have seen so much, like my cards have been foiled.
Yeah, PC's been awful, Trials. It's been awful.
Yeah.
And this is the thing is that it's just one platform that's causing most of the issues, and
Yeah.
I don't think Bungie was fully prepared for that.
I agree.
But it's not just Bungie. To be clear, there are cheaters running rampant in every game right now.
Yeah.
Warzone, I've heard, is particularly bad.
Mm-hmm.
I get that they want free to play because they wanted to increase the player base,
Right.
but I think they've diminished their loyal player base because of what they did.
It's a good argument in PvP. It's a valid. I mean, you've got the online population, influx, which they do like. They do like the community coming in, but the curse of it is obviously the ease of access, the ease of entry into trials and hardcore activities, and really making life miserable for people who are not cheating. PC is going to be tough. That's always going to be the struggle there. And I don't know if it's a paywall. I don't know if it's a hard anti-cheat software that has to be installed. They're in a tough spot. They're in a tough spot with it to how to handle it. You know what I mean?
So
because I see both arguments.
Yeah, but the problem that we now have is that we're worried about things that have no monetary value. We're worried about that in the PvE community taken away.
Right.
Because now we have this, there's a potential that cheaters will get world first. Now, whether Bungie now have to make it a rule where if you want to be viable for a world's first title, you have like one or two members of your team have to be streaming. It's just it's very concerning when we're worried in a game that it's in the PvE side of things, we're worried about a massive achievement being taken away because people have automatic like revokers or whatever it is that they're
Oh my god.
taking.
Yeah.
And I hope that they honestly they're being too silent for most of the community to really feel like they're being heard. I really would like they haven't touched on it on like maybe the past 3 twabs.
Oh
They
yeah, I was
need to
watching Asdacross. Like, was he gonna do a TWAB or not, or was he gonna do a TWAB video? It was like, oh nope, another TWAB, no anti-cheat. See you guys later. And that's what he was actually starting to do that for a couple weeks because there are so many, and they are big content creators that get tired of it. I mean, you watch a lot of the hugely renowned PvP players, content creators, streamers, all those, and they just get so tired of it. I mean, Cognito and I joked like literally the first day before this started, make them pay for like make some way to pay, either buy the season pass to pay for trials, make some ridiculously long quest where we're like, I don't know, get a stupid number of kills in PvP before you go into trials, before you can actually just like jump in. So these like new accounts, find some way to stop the new accounts. Like recoveries is a whole different ball of wax, and maybe,
or just lock it into the season pass. Just you have to. Like, you only have access to trials itself, nothing else. You only have access to trials if you buy the season pass. The season pass is not that expensive.
Yeah.
So, but, like, there has to be something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off at all. It just popped in my brain there. Like, there had, like, or even an add-on. Like, and I know that's really unfair because PvP players that play trials would then have to end up forking out more, when Bungie should be the ones that are really providing the safe environment that they can play without coming across hackers. I run with the Fizzle every weekend because he's kind enough to take me through trials, and he has a 100 intellect suit that he has to put on and mountaintop and everything to combat cheaters and everything like that. Like, some of it's just been wild.
Right. It's really bad.
I was like, as GMD saying, it's like a lot of things, and I think a little's in there because I can't remember who tweeted it. It might have been Lucky or something, and they were like, they literally watched somebody like respawn. They were cheating that way, and then they got kicked. They actually watched somebody get kicked live by cheating. So it's like there's little things in the background, but as he's saying, it's like the anti-cheat software, but depending for some, because you watch like Doom Eternal or Valorant was like almost like into like so deep into the hardware, they're almost getting like almost at a BIOS level that people are like, I don't want you that far in my computer. You're still just a video game, and that's an issue.
Performance as well, right? Because that also, and I've seen GMD, not to cut you, but I see his point. I'm just saying that these are options they have to be considering. You know, and then also, you know, we have to keep in fact they went to another platform, right? They went to Steam. You know, then this is not a solo effort, right? They have to work in conjunction with the platform that it is on. This is a very complicated. I'm not excusing them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to Adi's point, we're at the point where the integrity of the game is at stake.
Absolutely.
And right now, it is not anyone's desire to look at a world first and hear about people getting bumped off, as we found out recently through,
like
terrible
DDoSing,
memes and DDoSing and stuff like that. You know, Trials is a mess. The PvP community has been suffering. You know, I'm part of that. And it really sucks that you don't take it with that level of seriousness. Now, they did say that they're going to work on it. They gave us kind of a roadmap as far as how long maybe, but they also said they can't talk about it. So it's this weird thing because like we don't want to talk about it to get
like people. They can't tell you what we do, but we are doing something. And it's just like they always say they've banned thousands of people, but it's just it never seems like enough to a point. And again, I haven't jumped in Trials, but I only hear it's terrible. That's the reason I haven't jumped in.
The thing is that I have seen people say that they reported someone for cheating about 4 months ago, and they still continue
running around
that person in that
and it's demoralizing, and it's to the point now. And I know we went crazy long. We didn't get to talk. I'll wrap up. I'll wrap up this for me, but it's to the point now. What's sad is when you play someone now, even if it's a good play,
you don't know.
You're unsure.
You don't know.
You're like,
and I hate.
I want to give you props, but.
But was it? I was like, but was it? I'm like, oh man, that guy was a hell of a shot. And I'm like, I don't even want to go like dig into stats to figure out if he's. It's like I don't. But I hate in the back of my mind that it's there. Like the fact that the float, just the float, the thought floats through my mind for a second to be like, because I'm like, some people are like damn good slide shots, and don't even get me started if I'm shooting somebody like 5 bullets into something and they still can snipe me. I'm like, your reticle should be somewhere else, but that's a whole different animal.
That's sniper flinch, and that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, it's just
yes, I agree.
It's just it sucks that you have that question now because you're like, oh, I'm on PC. I always hear there's a bunch of cheaters. It's like, am I just running around in control and some dude's just like, what, getting his numbers up? Like it doesn't. I don't even know why you'd use it there, but it's like now you question it for no reason.
That's where we
It
at.
is demoralizing in PvP when you're like,
Mhm.
I don't know if that shot was legit or if it was, you know.
It's sad. I love PvP so much. I'm the most above average player, but I love me some PvP. It just Destiny PvP just hits the sweet spot for me personally. You know what I'm saying? As far as it's in the middle. It's like, you know, you still have a hardcore aspect to it, but the fact that it has abilities and all this other fun stuff you could do to change the tide. And then when you're playing against people who are doing things in Iron Banner and basic modes, and you're just like, really, this is what we're doing, and you know. It's tough, man. I feel for them. You know, it's going to be a tough way to implement it, but hopefully they can come up with something because they got to save it. They got to save that aspect of the game.
They just gotta be more vocal. They've just gotta, like, even a small update in the TWAB saying, we're making progress, or we've hit a... They need to be more forthright with it.
Completely agree.
We're like, we have, you know, we've encountered an issue trying to sort out our anti-cheat, so we're working on this. Is the kind of, they don't even have to give us general specifics, but they are just like, they're treating anti-cheat like it's not there at all, like it's not a problem. Or I mean, that's how it seems, because they're refusing to mention it in the TWAB. Like, even if they were just like, hey, we've got this kind of issue going on right now, so we're attempting to fix that, or we've run into a couple of bugs in how we're trying to build this anti-cheat, or hey, we've made some progress with our anti-cheat, we're about a percentage closer, or just something.
Right?
They just need to give us something to be able to say that they are acknowledging anti-cheat. Like, yeah, sure, they've said that they're working on it and they're acknowledging it and something. That was 3 or 4 TWABs ago, and you know what the Destiny community is like. It's like, well, are you actually doing something, or are you just giving us lip service?
Hello. Right. We hear you.
It's like you hear us. It's like, okay, the words went in. They may have been processed, but I didn't get anything on the other side. Before we, I was like, we could fall down this rabbit hole for so much longer. It's crazy. But before we transfer to over actually all the stuff we've been doing this week, which we haven't even got to, so this is might be a long podcast, but
I'm sorry.
No.
You talk so much.
No, you're good.
Very passionate discussion.
Yeah, all good stuff. Had a very specific question. So, Adi.
Yes.
Peanut butter. We have a question about peanut butter. What's the deal?
I don't like peanut butter.
You don't?
I had one of my inflammatory stream titles was peanut butter sucks.
Wow.
Wow.
No PB&J in your life, huh?
No.
What's up with the PB&J, Adi? What's going on? Talk to us.
I just don't. So I like dry roasted peanuts. I like salted peanuts.
Okay.
Peanut butter is just too rich. I can't stand it. So it was just a simple peanut butter sucks. And my goodness, did people feel strongly about it?
Have you had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
No. Because I don't like peanut butter.
But I was like, you're saying peanut butter is too rich. Like the jelly is like that perfect balance.
The jelly is the balance, girl. You gotta try it. You gotta try it.
So jelly to me is wibbly wobbly stuff that you have in ice cream, with ice cream at a children's party. Okay. You're talking about jelly as in fruit.
Peanut butter and jam. Peanut butter and jam.
There marmalade.
I like marmalade. I like marmalade.
Okay, then put some peanut butter and marmalade together.
Fine, I'll do it at some point. I'll record it and I'll tell you how I feel about it. Okay.
My God, that's what we just got. We gotta let you give peanut butter a chance.
It's like a lot of things. You have the salt and the sweet, and you combine those two together, and it kind of gets a nice balance between them. So
exactly. Shout out to Donut X, my jam preserves. So we're gonna get Addie to try it. We're gonna see the results. You heard it here first in the last word.
Crystal, what are you doing to us right now? Don't start that. Are we going to ask every guest who comes through the question?
Crystal,
what do we think about bringing Hawk
I loved you, Crystal. We were in a good place. Yeah, I guess.
Do you have any short thoughts on that, the way it's coming back?
I think they need to stop bringing D1 exotics back.
Okay, that's easy. We're done. We'll go ahead and put that away. Perfect. That was a great captured answer. We don't have to go any farther.
Got a treaty. We're good.
Yep. All right. Excellent. That's been like a 2.5 week debate, so I'm glad we're not going any farther.
Chaos. Yes, no chaos for you today. This is gonna be
Crystal's like the Joker. He just wants to watch the world burn.
Yeah, he's like twisting the knife. Yep. I don't know what you're doing, Crystal. We see you.
So somehow we talked for almost an hour and 40 minutes, and we still haven't even talked about what we've been doing this entire week.
Oh dear. How long does your podcast normally go for?
Our podcast is usually about I will say, like, normally we're about 2 hours, and some people are like, yeah, I should be able to stay around that long. We've had some people hang for 3, but I was like, you're used to 3 hours, so you're just like, go, whatever.
Well, we'll talk, and if it turns out we just need to cut things off, then we'll just go, hey, we'll be back for part 2 next week.
Yeah. Well, the podcast used to be called Flashpoint, and then we joke it was Long Point. So we've been there. We've done that. So it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But Solstice of Heroes. So obviously it came out. You guys have seen the watch of the video background. Yeah, we've had a couple controversial pieces, a couple bugs go on. Before we get into the things that have gone, a little up in the air and kind of been fixed overall, just thoughts of it this year, the way it returned. We're going to the EAZ. You got the objectives on the armor. What are you guys' overall thoughts on the grind, the feel of it? Are you doing it? Do you not care? Thoughts? Addie, you're first because you're the guest. And ladies first, so double win.
It's something to do. I don't know. I don't feel the rush.
That's a low bar, man.
Yeah, she said it low.
Like, there's no mad rush to do it because we've got 3 weeks. So it's definitely not as grindy as it was last year, which is, I suppose, a plus. I enjoy the fact that they've actually put up a bonus. So once you complete the first one, if you do the second one, you got a ×2. You do the third, you got a ×3. I think that's really, really smart because no one wants to sit and do the same thing on 3 characters and it to take the same amount of time.
That should be like everywhere in the game, by the way. I fully support that, all places.
I agree. Quality of life.
Like, if you've already done something, don't make them do it again. I love the EAZ itself. It's a very, very cool skybox. And the fact is that you got a very distinct different times of days. You got day and night, and that's really, really fun. I enjoy that. Killing the bosses. I wish that we had new bosses. I feel like all I've seen is the ones from last year. It feels like almost a direct copy and paste from last year. And I get it's basically it's content. Okay, it's something to drop and it's something for people to do and to chase. I'm not a big fan of the fact that when you complete the masterwork, when you complete the objectives plus majestic, it doesn't masterwork your armor.
Oh, you're ahead of me, but yeah, that was like probably my biggest wind out of my sails on this one.
I don't understand why we have to spend more materials when we've spent that much time grinding it. But I enjoy the fact that I enjoy the fact that if you get all 3 characters to that particular step, once you complete a step on the majestic armor, it's completed on the others. That I enjoy. What I hate is how much we would have to spend in the Eververse to get the subclass glows for every character. That is unacceptable. I think I know that Eververse is for helping to support the game and stuff, but that to me, now I buy things from Eververse all the time. I don't shy away from Eververse. That's where I get a lot of pretty things. But that was money grabbing, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm not. I feel like I mean,
I don't know pounds. Like, I don't know how much it is for you guys. It's for the 3 sets. It's $45.
It's the same for us.
Yeah. So like the expansion is what's Shadowkeep base price? Or not Shadowkeep, Beyond Light base price
50.
for it.
50.
3 armor sets or your entire, September expansion of things. And this is the whole, I mean, microtransactions are in a weird place right now. They talk about game prices going up from 60 to 70, which is like, in my opinion, long overdue.
I would disagree, but that's an entirely different subject.
Yeah, that's a whole podcast in itself.
Yes.
whole different one. But in general, like, to me, and I've said this, like, if some of this stuff was cheaper, I would probably buy even more. If I felt like I was getting a good value for my money. And I'm sitting here looking at these glows. Now, granted, the glows, I will say, they said people have had some feedback like, hey, these don't look so hot. They're not really bright. I don't like, they're not that glowy. And they said they're looking into that. So that is one thing they're looking at. We also had the bug of the 2 times and 3 times progression for Titans that I almost got screwed on, but switched over to Warlock, and now I'm back on my Titan. So there's that little bit of stuff going on.
Nice.
But $45, I'm just sitting there like, my Titan's my main. I usually main my Titan. So it's like $15 for the event. I could probably do that. And I know there are Fortnite skins that are $20. That's fine. That's a free game. And I can't remember who I was listening to talk about it. It's like they almost triple dip. You get your expansion, you get your season pass, then you have the Eververse. Mm-hmm. It's one too many transactions, it feels like, all the time.
I feel like they have literally just copy and pasted last year's. So why are we paying even more money to get the same thing that we had last year? I understand that it looks different. I understand that it's slightly different to what it was last year. But I feel, and I know that it's enabled, like it's got a pre-enable, like you can get the stasis glow on it as well when you finally get stasis.
Right.
But it's ridiculous that they are expecting us to pay $45 or use basically your entire Bright Dust store. Because yes, sure, there is the free way to get it. It should not be $15 per character.
Oh, and
That's atrocious.
You can't even grind Bright Dust right now because the event doesn't have Bright Dust on the bounties.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
And they're we're also checking into that, and I'm just going, those are the bugs, and I'm like, I understand not everything's perfect, but that, the longer it takes, the more that's an issue.
I think they missed a really, really good opportunity to get more people involved in the game. If they had just, as soon as you complete the big masterworked armor, that's when you get your glow. Or a step above that. So
what if it was even sorry to cut you off. What if it was even something for the Arc Solar and Void, like, hey, while wearing the full set of armor, which you can infuse up to 360, so you're gonna have plenty of time, you get so many kills with whatever to start unlocking the other colors. Now it could be like a ridiculous number of kills, to a point where it's balanced over the course of maybe the first season next year. But on the other side, it's that would be a way to say you could spend some money, still bring the price down. It's too damn much. But on the other side, if you get the white glow and you're like, hey, I want to activate the blue glow. Well, go get 2,000 arc subclass kills while wearing the full set of armor. Make it something
what they're going to do, though?
Do what?
If it was something like that, they'd just be paying Shirochi a visit.
So I was like, I don't know how you do it. Maybe you got to go complete some more, 10 more Gambit matches or something that
Lord.
I know. Well, you don't mind, but
10 more Gambit matches.
But I understand that a lot of people...
I don't know the exact way to make it earnable, but give the alternative for people who are willing to put in the time, especially if it's going to last for the next 10 months or however long it's going to last. When you get it, let somebody who would, even a casual that can just play 50, however many strikes it doesn't need to be stupid, but make it earnable. You can buy or you can go earn due to lots of playtime. And that's, again, still keeping people in your game doing what they're going for anyway.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. It's the fact that, if they're finding an issue with, the player base going down and stuff, they need to encourage people to stay in the game, not spend their money. If it was slightly cheaper, I would totally go for it. But I don't feel like, as a single parent, who the only way that she earns her money is by streaming, I don't feel like I have the ability to drop $45 on some cosmetic stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it's really pretty and I really want it. It's really pretty and I really want it. But I also have bills to pay. $15 per character is extreme. I feel like it should only be $5 or maybe $10. But the thing is that even if you were to put it as $10, you're pricing an expansion you're pricing cosmetics at almost the same price as a season pass.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's confusing to me. I have seen exotics, exotic emotes be 1,000 silver. What justifies that exotic emote as $10? That's not even if it's a pack of 3. If they were to put a pack of 3 emotes into the Eververse as 1,000 silver, I'd buy it straight off because I'm getting 3, not just 1. They
That's
need
why.
to.
Yep, I'm with you. Cheaper cheaper stuff, especially more places to earn some bright dust. Like both sides would help, and they've gone so far the other way. It hurts the way it is lately because those like $10. I mean, you look at like the big axe finisher that we get with this emote, which I'm sure you
really
looked at. Do you already own it, Cognito, or not yet? Did you buy
Purchased.
it? You bought it already?
I'm weak. And I bought it. And I bought the bend the knee one. And that one, they got me. They got me. It's certain ones that it just speaks to me.
Oh, I know. The Iron Lord one makes sense. They can charge you $50 and you'd still do it because you don't care.
There's certain ones that people would come up to me like, yo, you don't got the bend the knee. You're an Iron Lord. Like, what's going on? You know how it goes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But look, at the end of the day, yo, Prescott, bro, there's certain ones that they make, it just touches your soul, and you just say, okay, you got this one. You got this one budget. But to your point, like, the pricing is definitely out of whack. Nothing should be on the level of the expansion or a season pass.
Yeah.
And so that is way too much. It's way too much.
Fortnite's free to play. Other games that do cosmetic, I mean, what's Path of Exile? The armor sets in there almost like $50. But my buddy's like every so often they'll do like, but the whole thing's free to play. He'll play like hundreds of hours, like leveling up his character and dump like $50 in for like a full like giant season of content because that's the only thing he's paying for. We pay for the expansion, for the seasons, and for cosmetics. Cosmetics, like, you would see a whole lot of $2 and $3 charges on my card.
Yeah.
If I was like buying like, hey, here's 1,000 silver, I got these. Oh man, it's only 10 more bucks. Well, I can get like 4 more things. Cool. Okay. Like, I would do that more. Now, granted, there's the other side where there's the whales, and they have some statistics where they price it the way they do. But
oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. This is all business run. They know what they're doing. You know, so I'm not saying it's right. I mean, it's just one of those things that now I think as a result that they've gotten more out of control. It's just more now you become selective. There's things that you might want, but I'm like, I'm only getting the things in my opinion, like I feel I must have. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it comes down to it. And to the EAZ, with the whole Solstice. I'm glad it's back. I've been playing it. I started my grind late. I do miss it. I miss it because when I started the EAZ, I instantly reminded me how much I love the verticality of that level. And it's just, the searching. I am one of the few people that actually don't mind the Easter hunt thing. Like, I don't know. It's just
the treasure hunt at the end.
I know people hate it.
I'll be honest. I'm not a fan.
I know
Use
people
your
hate
Earth
it.
Ghost.
I don't know. What again?
What'd
Use your Earth Ghost.
I didn't hear you.
Use your what?
The Earth Ghost? You know, the
Earth
ghost that will
yep.
detect your chests and stuff like that? Use that. It works.
The EDZ Earth Ghost work?
There you go.
Like the cache detectors.
Dropping
detector
knowledge.
works.
Knowledge. Oh, I did not know this. Oh, it is so on.
Well, that'll ease it up a little bit. I guess part of it is, okay, so not everybody knows that. There are however many people are watching that now know that. But for a lot of general people, it's like you go through and like, cool, you even got like some boss runs and stuff. And then you get like, I picked up 3 chests. What are we at? 4. What are the other 2 stupid people in this group doing right now?
But it's fun though. It makes me laugh because I'm like, okay.
That's not fun. That's frustrating. I have 2 dumbasses in my group. Sorry, I'm the one cussing today, and Addie was worried about it. I know. She was like, I'm going to be clean, and I'm the one saying it.
Put a finger at you.
Yeah, no. And she's like, no, not me.
But look, now that you continue.
No, it's just like, it's frustrating to be, like, to go through. And again, not everybody knows. Yes, the ghost will help. That'll be good. So I can help some. But I'm going to, try and do a quick pan over, half. I'm going to go around, pick up a couple. Some dude looks the same direction I go. I'm like, oh. And then we find 3, and some other dude I swear is just staring at his phone in the corner, just I don't know
what is he doing?
That's not me, I swear.
I was like, what did they change in there? They changed the chest locations.
Yeah.
So it was they did change some of the chest locations. Some, not all, but some are different.
Okay.
Okay, there's one I know on a roof that I have not seen. There's one in a little hallway so I heard there was a couple that changed. Maybe not all. They changed some. Okay, see, some. Not all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've yet to witness it myself, but
he knows. Yeah. Ares is running it quick. We got 13 bosses down, 13 chest runs, getting optimal runs in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got to run with y'all. Wow. Y'all killing it.
Yeah. So it's it can be done efficiently, but overall, just for the event, for me, it is copy. paste.
No, it's copy paste. Yeah,
Like
for sure.
not much different. And I will say, like the grind on the armor did got better. Things were tweaked a little bit. I wish it was Gambit or Crucible for the second tier, just to give you variety a little bit. Because they do that on some things. It would be nice to just see a little bit. A little bit of variety. But I was like, they took out, what was it, like 50 packages or something? People were like farming that one Scion for.
Remember that one Scion boss we had to,
Yeah, so it's like that was fixed. So some things are better, and then you get the kind of egregious Eververse costs get a little bit in there. But we also had like the progression edition, like the second and third characters, as you guys were saying. Those are fantastic. I love the fact that that's in there. It sucked for a day or two because they're like, Titan, stop your Titan, it's broken. Crap. But it was fixed within like a day, and I was like, that's impressive. So it's like they jumped on a bug fairly quickly too. And I saw somebody be like, wow, they actually fixed a bug for the players this fast as opposed to against us for one. So it's like, oh man. So,
I mean, they're not wrong though. Like it's genuinely like there's some. To be fair, we don't. I mean, there's probably some guardians in the community that also do coding and also do bugs and everything like that, so they'll know. But to most of us, we're never really gonna know how much testing and tweaking that they have to do before they can actually fix a problem. So.
Right.
The Titan bug was probably really simple to fix. But, another bug that may seem like really simple and also really annoying to us could be buried in like 6 pages of code.
Absolutely. And break other things. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and is it server side, which they did that like background server maintenance, and then things seem to get fixed later. I was like, wonder if that was tied together. And then some are truly client side where we have to get a patch, just as we were talking about. Patches take time for certification for all the consoles. Like some things are not going to be fixed. And then what was the thing they talked about? It was taking them forever to track down. Oh, there was something with like snipers and like the way the bounce. There was something that they were trying to figure out it was an older patch. I can't remember. Okay. But it was one that they tracked forever. And they like, we finally figured something out here. And they're like, you've been thinking about, I almost forgot about it when they brought it up again. Some things take so long and you just don't know what it takes because we always joke about their spaghetti code, but yeah, every system in that whole thing is tied together.
Yeah, but like I said, for me, it's just been, like I said, I get it. Everything you guys are saying, I agree with. It is copy and paste. I think something about, I just like that the event is different from a Verticality standpoint. I do like a little bit of the fun with the treasure hunt thing. Now, the thing I dislike is I'm still not a fan of this armor. I think last year's armor set, for me, blows this one away.
Really?
You're a hunter. See, the warlocks speak to me in the chat. When you put on this suit, I'm too big in the hips. I don't like the way.
You don't like big hips?
Go do some cardio like I just did. Come on.
Yeah, like this warlock needs to get down with the squats. It needs to do something. It needs to get on the treadmill. I just feel stocky. I don't feel very sleek. Warlocks, talk to me.
Warlocks aren't meant to be sleek. It's hunters that are meant to be sleek.
True.
Are you a male or female character? If you want to be sleek, go be a female.
For the warlocks in the chat, please tell me if y'all prefer last year's Solstice gear or this year, because I don't like. I like. Only thing I like about it is the little crack, the chest piece, the gold, the actual default color of it. But the suit, I'm not there, y'all. I'm not there. Talk to me, warlocks. I don't know. Yeah, Spidey, I'm with you. Yeah, I don't know. I think you guys got the good end of the stick. I think Hunters are great, Titans great, but yeah.
I think it's always about the character models as well. Like, I will never not play, like, I will never not have a female model for Hunter. Not just because of the gender that I am, but also because it looks better.
Right.
And that's the truth with all of the characters. Which, they're a bit more slender, which makes sense. Because traditionally, men are larger than women. But I really, really like this year's gear on all 3 characters. I'll play all 3 characters. I'm comfortable in all 3 characters. But Hunter is normally my main. I am a Titan main right now, though. I have to main Titan for a while because
it's like, why? That doesn't sound like you.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Because I did a charity fundraiser for Black Lives Matter. We raised enough money that they made my boyfriend, who is a Hunter main warlock. My friend Krillin, he's a Titan main. He has to main Hunter, and I have to main Titan. So
Yeah. Shingami, yeah, he said I like parts of the armor, such as the bond and then also the cracks. Yeah, the top part I'm good. I just don't like necessarily arms and the bottom half at all. But that's just me. But that's what it is. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to transmog it once I can. I'm going to transmog that bottom half, and that sash is not doing it for me. I'm sorry, Warlock. So that helmet, I will be throwing an exotic in that place and then keeping the rest of the set. That's all I got there.
That's all. Not too much of an opinion. I will say, though, for every one of them, both the Titan, like chest and full dress, you got the Hunter cloak, and then the Titan mark. Every one of those has a big open loop at the bottom, and it feels like Incredible's cape is going to get caught on something. Yeah, like just hold on, be like, and just yank it right off. But I mean, overall, I don't know. I was like, you got hips. Oh no. At least I was
childbearing
like,
hips on my
wow. Okay. All right.
Smart.
Childbearing hips on the Warlock, man.
I mean, you got that open bottom dress as well. You're good to go.
Not a fan. Not a fan. No, I'm not feeling very, very fly
no capes.
out there.
Yeah, no capes. Yeah. Oh, we got a guest appearance. There we go.
There we go.
Everybody shout out to the most valuable player in the podcast right there, making the guest appearance.
It's me, yes. Okay.
Salute.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you with Auntie Rachel?
She is going to break a whole lot of guys' hearts out there in the world.
Yes.
Or girls.
There you go. Hey, either one. Yeah, their hearts will be broken. Let's just say that.
Hearts will be broken.
Hearts will be broken. Absolutely.
Okay. What do you need from me, darling? You're tired. Go on. Go hang out with Auntie
She's
Rachel.
like, I need to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I did want to ask you guys,
on.
sparrows and ships, now that you've seen them in game, the pictures look good.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys thinking about any of the sparrows and ships? Again, Eververse. I know stuff's expensive, but curious if you guys toyed around. Are you still on your sparrow from last week? The one with the big like gold like swooping ornaments, or do you like the sleek like speeder bike? Yeah, Cognito. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I still like I think as I looked at it, yours does look better when I finally seen it in front. Yeah, I have to admit, I think yours does look better. I guess the way it was displayed on the TWAB last week,
because it's got like the flatter wings, but you can't see it in the picture as well.
Yeah. And then when I saw you, I'm like, nah, Ease is better. I do like. So that's my decision on it. I definitely feel that. What about you, Adi? What are you feeling about the?
I don't change my sparrow.
What do you run?
The sparrow from Scourge.
Because you got it.
Nice.
I think it's actually just because of the utility of it. It's handy. It's just makes. I don't see the need to continuously change my sparrow.
No.
And I probably haven't changed my ship, especially on my hunter, in a long time.
I mean, there really is no point. You have a 160 sparrow that loads fast. Cool.
Yeah, for the utility, I completely understand that.
That's one of those when we think about Beyond Light, it's like, hey, for one, everything should be 162. They should all be all fast load. So at least you might consider mixing it up. I have my tilt fuse that I got from the arms dealer on one of my characters, and I've left it there because it's an exotic. I'm like, that's fine. Something a little different.
Give me my toot toots back. I want my sparrow horns back too.
Oh no, I missed those. Somebody even brought those up in SRL. It's like reply if you know what this is. I was like, oh my god, I missed the horns.
Yes,
I think I haven't. So I think Bungie should really take a lesson, because I know a lot of people. The ship that I run is the Whisper ship, and that wasn't purchasable. That was earned. That was a 3-week grind, and I got it, and I haven't taken it off. It's one of the best looking ships in this entire game, and I didn't have to pay any silver or any bright dust for it. They need to do more of that.
Yeah.
And that's why I like D1, because they used to do that all the time.
To be fair, they only had to manage 2 consoles, though. PC is probably a little bit more expensive in regards to developing costs and patch updates and everything like that. So I imagine that they are also using Eververse funds to create more content, like dungeons and stuff.
Absolutely.
But they definitely need to rewind a little bit and go back. I'm very much of a, D2 is a little bit better than D1, but they do need to go back to their D1 kind of roots with not relying so much on money
We
to
good.
customizing.
We
I was like, we
back
got
here,
like
girl.
a
We
team.
back
Like
here.
again, they took the Eververse armor out. They put it into Prophecy Dungeon,
Mhm.
which
Yes.
again, like
Ugh.
that was a step in the right direction of at
Mhm.
least taking cosmetics out, putting them earnable in in-game
Well,
activities, stuff like that.
Yep.
But again, yeah. Also, when I go through Pit of Heresy, I want to look like Zolmak. I still wish I could, but I won't.
Facts.
Mm.
So that would
It's
be
something to be said,
fantastic.
like Adi said. It's something. It's that pride when you got that chip that's only earnable that way, and people are like, yo, where did you get that? Like, yo, I grinded, I did X, Y, and
did
Z.
this,
I ain't gonna open my checkbook and go to.
Yeah, no, that's
what a lot of people do in D2 is the checkbook, and here we go, and then they got everything, and I just missed that. But yeah, it's so cool that they at least we get it though. They're trying to fund the game, and we understand. We just want that nice balance. It's that nice balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think we kind of knocked out. I mean, that's basically what's going on. We got Solstice. That is everything that's happening right now. So as you guys work through your armor, we're working through that. They had a Bungie Foundation update. They have they're over 1.1 million for everything they got done from the Empathetic Ghost Shell and all the stuff that they've done for that iPads for Kids program. The stuff that they do is always fantastic. So like the fact that they did 602,000 in donations and 555,000 from the Empathetic Ghost Shell. That's insane.
That was insane.
That's
one thing that I really like
bonkers.
with Eververse is that was a really, really good thing to put in Eververse.
Yep.
That
type of stuff is cool. Same with like the shirts they did for the Australian fires. I love those types of things. I will.
Good cause. They've been on fire.
Yeah, those pieces. I don't think anybody touches them as much as they do for that. Always so cool. And yeah, if you ever need to cry, go read one of those stories because that definitely like pull at your heartstrings and you're like,
Absolutely.
It's like too bad. Got another fashionable week coming up. So if you guys are looking to do that, the Solstice Fashion Show, if you got some glow and gears and stuff. So players must be wearing at least one Solstice of Heroes armor piece. Doesn't matter which one. No glows are required. Players must take a picture on any destination to qualify. That's it. So you can tweet at them through Thursday, August 20th. They'll be revealing them on August 20th. I guess tweet at them as soon as you can.
Cool.
Other than that, they've got some missing emblems, some patches. They know some stuff that they're working on. Generally, that's most of it.
Yeah.
I know they kind of put out, just to wrap this thing up, I know we're going long, but kind of do the final little topic here. DMG kind of put out a tweet and he was asking for just kind of quick 5 bullet points that you want to see, hear about for Beyond Light and basically what's coming. So for both of you guys, what are like 5 things, or do you want to kind of do one at a time that you want to see coming with Beyond Light, or that you want to not even see, that you want to hear about from Bungie? We'll do round robin, kind of go one at a time. So Adi, first thing, just what comes to your head is something you want to see with regards to Beyond Light.
What's the raid light going to be?
Oh, what the required level?
Mm-hmm. What the required level is for raid light. I'd really like to know that.
That would be interesting. I think for me also the implementation of year 1 crossplay, where it's system to system. I want them to get to talk about that. See if they're gonna
year 1 crossplay. What do you mean?
Well, remember they said it's gonna be 2 phases, right? They said
for like Cosmodrome.
Well, I meant to say like remember how they said Xbox and Series X and regular Xbox.
Family crossplay. Gotcha.
Yeah, like that. Just to get the walls down with that. And I know that next year they'll talk about the big one, but just to see how they advance with that would be cool. Just some information on that. What about you?
Nice. I mean, for me, just like there's some little stupid stuff, and I'll just keep thinking stuff as we go. But like, what's gonna all the stuff related to the planets that are leaving? I mean, is there like, be it currencies that have got the content vault, a lot more clarity on the content vault between currencies? Should I be dumping all those into Spire to get stuff that's more valuable? That type of stuff. You've also got things like the Thorn Quest, just what their plan is for those types of things, just to get a little more clarity, because there's a lot of people just like waiting, and we have 3 months, and I can just like, work on some of that stuff. So that's one of mine. Addie?
Speaking of Destiny content vault, I want to know the lore. I want to know how they're going to put that in the lore, how they're going to justify that we are not going to be able to get. Honestly, I have my own thoughts on it, and I have my own way that will happen, but I'll be very interested to see if it lines up with what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. For me, we discussed earlier, anti-cheat. Be nice to talk about it.
What?
It's time.
That's an important thing.
It's time. What you got?
What's anti-cheat?
What is anti? More just kind of the like, what if the delay changed the seasons at all? To kind of know is like, as you know, our expansions now going to be November? Is anything shortened? Just kind of to know if that changed anything, and that may be like a fluid thing, but to know if like that delay actually has changed anything officially.
I want to have some more clarification on sunsetting. A lot of people are automatic. Like, I see so many people up in arms about sunsetting, angry about sunsetting, and it's like, the only content that you're not going to be able to use these past weapons for is light enabled, which is raids, which is Gambit, but Gambit doesn't really count. Raids, trials, Iron Banner, and Gambit. That is the only light leveled enabled content in Destiny 2. And I mean, like, endgame raid, like the new raid. The rest of the raids, it doesn't matter. I want to know how, like, are they actually going to be implementing better guns or guns that we are more likely to use? Because how do you top a mountaintop? How do you top a Revoker? Revoker annoys me. Revoker annoys me so much. Reward on headshots, don't reward on missed shots.
There you go.
Fair enough. For me, which Gambit gonna go?
There you go.
Which Gambit gonna go? That's what we gotta know. Because I've come full circle. I was a regular Gambit guy, but prime all day for me now. I've completely flipped the script. Me and Paul Tassi together have seen the light. It's all about prime. I would love that, and I would love the sets to come back. And I would like to see what they do with Gambit.
Some kind of evolution of the sets would be good. I know we're not getting Armor 2.0 or Armor 3.0 or any evolution of Armor. They flat said it because they said the Solstice Armor is going to last, which for me is kind of sad. But on the other side, maybe an evolution in the weapon department. People are wondering if there is a Weapons 2.0 to some extent. We know Stasis is coming with an element for energy weapons and heavy weapons and stuff like that alone, and subclasses, which that's, I guess, another piece too. I want to understand how that subclass works. Is it that custom tree that we heard of? Is it going to be a fourth one? Like, how, just a little clarity, or is it just log in, earn your quest, and then see it that day?
Yeah.
But yeah, understanding if the weapons are going to change, the mods, if exotics are going to have a mod slot on them. Yep. Season mods on exotics. Yeah.
I want to know how Vogue's going to be affected.
Woo!
I want to know, is there going to be is there going to be champions in the raid? Are they going to change how things work? Are they going to, because if they're just copy and pasting it straight from D1 into D2, all the people that have run Vogue a million times are going to have an easy enough time. My other interest in that is that will there be another race for, like, world's first race? It's already been completed.
That's true.
You know, we had it completed in D1. Are they, if they're going to publicize that as another world's first race, are they going to honor that? Or the people who won Vogue World's First in D1, are they going to feel cheated by it?
Good point.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Do they change mechanics? Do they add stuff new? You know? Then you got the purity people who like, oh, don't touch. That's gonna be interesting. That's a good point. The way they handle it. That is they're in a bit of a touchy situation. That's a very emotional raid for people. For me, transmog. Transmog. Yes. How is it going to be handled? The specifics. You know, I would love a breakdown on that. That's going to be very interesting. We're excited about it. But, you know, pure implementation, explanation, how they're doing, handling the systems would be cool. Okay.
Leveling. I want to know, like, I mean, you said it earlier too, and it's one thing they've kind of teased that they're trying to get away from bounties. What does that mean? Is it the fact that if you run a raid, is that like worth a level's worth on a season pass if you finish a raid, or you finish every encounter versus going to farm bounties and stuff like that. If you sit in the strike playlist for 2 hours, you don't have to go back and pick up bounties. Can I get bounties from space? Which I think they mentioned at some point.
Yeah, they mentioned. Yeah.
What is just like the whole leveling progression, because making us do all the powerfuls and the pinnacles, and I don't know if they're going to completely throw a wrench into that for a full change, but it is getting to feel samey after, especially seasonally now, because we do it every season.
Yeah.
And we know it's 50 per level because they literally gave us the numbers of what it's going to change.
Right.
Hopefully some kind of evolution there. But leveling and bounties, because they mentioned they're getting away. So tell us what's changing.
Yep.
I want to know if, now this may have already been covered, so please help me, but I want to know whether, so the Cosmodrome is coming back and obviously Bog is coming back, they're being unvaulted. Are they going to be vaulted when it comes to the Witch Queen, or are they going to stay? Because they're not as large as all of the planets that we're getting rid of. So my question is this going to be the start of implementing all of D1 into D2, like a lot of people have been calling for?
Good one. It's a good one. It's a good question.
I was like, to my remembering of what they said, I know each expansion is getting a new planet. So we get Europa, Witch Queen gets somewhere new, and then Lightfall gets somewhere new. But also on the other side, you get to add, like, and I'm kind of with you. I'm wondering with Witch Queen, do we get Dreadnought? Yes.
Give me Dreadnought back, please, for the love of God.
I think that'd be a nice way, like, if we get, say, and again, I think they're taking 4 planets out. They said they're trying to bring it down to a manageable level. So now we're going to do that exchange. So I don't think EDZ really can ever leave just because the tower's there. I don't think we ever get to completely ditch EDZ. Maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe.
That's why we have the Cosmodrome.
Yeah.
Because basically, that basically takes over Earth. So we have Earth.
So EDZ
that could be new Earth. Yeah. It's interesting.
But I was like, so you might lose something like Nessus. I think Tangled Shore and Dreaming City will stay around through Witch Queen.
Okay.
They have to.
I think because that all ties together. Yeah.
So much of Savathun's story is in the Dreaming City and in the Shattered Throne. Yeah. They have to keep that. I would be interested to see whether at the end of the Witch Queen year,
they sunset those.
They sunset those, because at the end of that year, that's when we solve the curse, which means we still have another 2 full years before we solve the curse.
Which I feel so sorry. Yeah, that's so crazy.
They need to. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this really quickly. Bungie needs to get better at linear storytelling and actually linking it in, because I feel like there's too much. We're still getting stories coming back, and we're still dealing with the Cabal 3 years later.
Yes.
Why are they still here?
Yeah.
We have soundly kicked their butts. We have got Gaul out of here.
Yeah.
Callus is Chilean as Leviathan, but apparently he's a good guy. Why are we still dealing with these guys 3 years later when we have amazing
shout out to Aldrin.
Yeah. That annoys me.
We'd love to get some
so
clarity
much.
there.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's just, there needs to be a bit more linked instead of waiting 3 years before the end of a story.
Yes.
It's confusing. And obviously Bungie are in a very, very difficult position, especially with like the Dreaming City. Dreaming City is on a constant, is in a constant loop, right? If they need to then start looking at instancing. So if someone who has solved the curse, when they go to the Dreaming City, it's entirely different to someone who launches in there and hasn't solved the curse. I know World of Warcraft did that really well, where if there is someone that hasn't done something particular, hasn't completed a certain part of a quest, the area that they go to is entirely different than someone going to the same area, but they have completed that part of the quest. They need to start doing instancing to provide more of a, I don't even mean like, they don't just need to sit us down in a chair and be like, basically picture booking, this is how this story goes.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that I could do without 2 years between a bit of story and another bit of story. Like,
connective threads?
Right?
Yeah. As opposed to here's your story threads. They don't connect. I know, they're just all here.
Yeah,
They're just here. I mean,
this is this podcast right here in a nutshell. That is dangling unanswered questions. That's this podcast.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I'll make my last one. This will be my final one. You know it. I got the shirt. Trials, baby. Trials. We need love. Besides the anti-cheat, what are you doing? What are you doing with these rewards? What are you doing with the guns? What about my adept weapons? What about, let's get to it. Let's fix it up. Let's shape it up. Hopefully there could be that nice combo package with the anti-cheat and the nice coat of paint. Don't know if it's going to happen beyond light. It may not. But at least if they talk about it and give us a roadmap or be transparent as to what the expectation of these things are going to be, then I am fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Final one.
Final one.
Put a ball in it.
How many strikes do we get? Because we're losing how many are
losing strikes?
We're losing.
Yeah.
I haven't even done the math on the ones we're losing. It's not that hard, but I was like, we're losing enough that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We're losing like half or 70% of the.
Yeah, like 6, 7, like 6 or 7 strikes. Like we're not getting the 6 or 7. There's no way in hell I would imagine that. But I was like, I still want to know how many we get that are not story missions from Europa.
Oh please, God, no! I can't deal with that. Stop using your story missions as your strikes, please, for the love of God.
I was like, how many times have we killed Zal? We killed a worm god in a story mission, and then we had to do it all over again in a strike, and you're just like, this makes 0 sense. That one.
Resources, brother, resources.
They disrespected Zol so much.
Yeah, they did. They did. We just pull out regular guns. Get him, girl god. You ain't nothing, world.
You get 3 people tag him with anarchy on the way while he's slithering past. He's dead.
Yeah, he's dead before he comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we technically carry Zol along in Whisper of the Worm. Like, I know basically he is the Whisper of the Worm, but they basically just reused Touch of Malice with Oryx. It's like, stop it. Just, please. Give these massive enemies that apparently we're supposed to fear the respect they deserve.
Yeah. My only worry is that we have it's a fallen Kel, but I'm like, how big can a fallen Kel? No, for Aramis though, that's like our boss in the fall, and yeah, she's gonna have stasis powers now. Maybe stasis has made her something special, but I was like, how big can a fallen Kel be, and why are you dying over there?
Reaper, shoot Soul with Whisper. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Reaper's on fire in the chat.
Oh God! Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah, Reaper's on fire. Salute the Reaper.
Well, that's a beautiful way to end it, I think. Stop hitting yourself for the win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was like, this has been a hell of a lot of fun. Seriously.
Definitely.
I was like, we could probably ramble on until things had to actually get done, but we should probably start tidying things up just a little bit. But I'm very curious to see where everything goes in the fall. And but I mean, floor is completely yours. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Of course, thanks for the honor on the other side for joining the Royale warm-up combo. But I was like, for you, it has been a pleasure having you around the campfire. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going, what you do, what you're known for. The floor is yours. It's all yours.
Oh, Christ. Okay. Hi.
Wow, so much pressure. Right now, no pressure.
James does this to me all the time. Hi, I'm Addy. I do PvE content on twitch.tv/Roboticadi. I do a lot of teaching. I teach people how to do raids. I help them do things that they can't do without fire teams. So I'll take them through Whisper missions. I'll take them through what's the other one? 0 hours and everything like that. We've been doing a lot of Nightfalls recently as well. The Nightfalls are really fun. I'm enjoying the Grandmasters a lot this season than I was last. What I've got going on in exactly
Just put the buzz together. Too bad. Let's go.
In 4.5 hours, I'm going to be doing a charity stream
very
for
cool.
the Trevor Project.
Nice. Great program. Yeah, I know about that.
So that's going to be fun. That's going to be on the Vision Fam channel. It's all put together by Activision, by Jess. She's amazing.
Oh, salute.
That's what I've got going on. I don't... I'm known for a lot of teaching and
Nice.
podcasting, and whether I be on podcasts or I run podcasts, I'm a rash in the Destiny 2 community. You just cannot get rid of me. I am everywhere.
There's a lot of jokes you could have in there. I'm going to save all of it over here, but that is... Oh, that's hilarious. No, I was like, honestly, you are a very, very, very hardworking individual of the Destiny community. It just may not get as much love. And also, to all of you out there, go follow her on Twitch for sure. Definitely lurk on her stream. Help push her to partner just to make sure that thing goes through. Absolutely.
Yes.
I do have the app in. It's not. Twitch have taken their time getting back to me, which I'm fine with, by the way, Twitch. Just as long as, at the end of the 6 or 7 week wait, it's a yes. Okay? Don't make me wait like 7 weeks and tell me no. That'd be great, thank you.
Rip the Band-Aid off. If you got bad news, just rip it off. But you can wait as long as you want for good news, right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Salute. Tremendous stuff.
Cognito?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, again, before I get into my intro, again, salute Adi for coming through. Super, super positive. Does a lot of good things in the community. Love the teaching aspect. Love the helping, bring people to raise. And then also the charity stuff. I caught her on the mental health with the filler. I thought that was really, really positive, really dope. And as well as Guardian Royale with Ebontis when I first, came across her content, stuff like that. So really cool, very positive and helping people. So salute to Adi. Let's get her to partner. Let's get that rocking out, like do the needful and get that going. Exactly. So salute. But yeah, y'all know me, man. Lord Cognito on Twitter. Iron Lord Podcast every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern is the Lord's Day. Come check us out. We will have BitCloud Gaming on this week. We'll talk about all the latest video game news. So Halo Infinite's delayed, rumors of PlayStation 5 exclusive, a lot of console stuff. And then I think Epic suing everybody about Fortnite. So that'll be fun. So come join us. We'll talk some legal stuff as well as some gaming. And then also, again, everybody salute. Thank you guys for supporting lordsofgaming.net. We're really doing well with the articles. You guys are really retweeting that and sharing that stuff. We're getting a lot of positive stuff. And of course, my brother, King David, if you're into statues, Marvel, DC, all that stuff, he's got an amazing Thanos up right now. So check that out, King of the Statues. It's on Iron Lord Podcast. And of course, I ain't going to say it because he hate when I say it. To support the last word. We love you guys in the chat. Every week we see it grow and we see it a little bit more and a little bit more. And we really appreciate the positive thoughts and vibes you guys give us and the laughs and the jokes. And stop trying to make me and E fight. That's the other thing. Stop that. I see what y'all be doing sometimes. But anyway.
They're like hashtag best banter, but that's totally fine. They threw that one out there, but it's all good.
Yes, even you, Crystal. Even you.
He just literally wants to just torch the entire place.
He's ready today.
Wants to watch the world burn.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. You guys know me, grinding this stuff out. Maybe Avengers Beta, want to get to Act 3 of Ghost of Tsushima. But YouTube, you guys have been fantastic lately. I'm like less than 200 subs away from 50K.
Let's get that 50K to y'all.
It's like less than, it's 49,872 right now. So hopefully next week I can walk in with some awesome news. Yeah, you guys have been
swagger.
50K swagger. It's like 50K is it's like a round number that can finally be like, I have 47 and a half. No, it's like, it's just, I want to have a good big round number that's like halfway to 100. So it's like, I can honestly, what?
Close, baby. Let's get it.
I was like, you guys have been crazy. The support on the couple guides for Solstice have been awesome. So YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all the places you can find me. If it's Ebontis and the Cheetah, it's me. So if you trip over that, you found the right place. And yeah, we're going to go raid OB Katie Cat this morning because I know she is streaming right now. So I'm going to send you guys over there in a second, but we got to wrap this thing up. So you guys have been awesome this morning. An amazing guest, a professional, I'm going to say it again one more time, a badass as well. Addie, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It has been an ultra pleasure.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Seriously. It's been really good to chill with you guys.
Yeah. So for episode 116, August 14th. Thank you guys very much. It has been
the last word.